So yeah, but like for that to happen, it would require people to actually watch this, and I think we have like
Oh,
Hey man, all it takes
self
is
this.
one person to watch.
I need
You know what I
11
mean?
followers, just 11. Oh my gosh, I just need 11 more. Ah, it's so close. It's like you're right on the cusp of being something. Anyways, stop whining, John. Back to the awesome, cool dungeon that I built for you. Exciting, fun. We've had plenty of time to review some stuff, but I'm just going to throw out a couple of points for people who might be watching at a later point. I think we have one person from the Margus game who is saying they were interested, so I'll just go ahead and just notate some things. First things first. The Zodiac for the campaign settings obviously different than the real world Zodiac. I posted this on the Discord for this game earlier. It shows the symbols for the Zodiac and the representative icon that they represent. Most people would notice that the Zodiac symbols are exactly identical to the real world Zodiac symbols. It's just that the meanings of them are different, and that's fine. It's a fantasy world. Some people use Merlin in their games. I just use Zodiac symbols. I think they're royalty free. Yeah, so we're gonna go with it. The next point of interest is they came down here after using the Orb of Gabalus, which is currently under the control and possession, or rather, in the body of
Inside of,
yeah Hawk, and a dagger they found in an old Vazriel king's tomb. Then they came down and they've quested through several different rooms. I'd say the best way to kind of get the information on that would just be to watch that because they've got probably lots of notes, some of them, about that. So we're just going to go ahead and move into it. The last time we talked, you guys had exited one of the rooms and entered back into the main chamber, and we're deciding what the next room you would go into would be. Trying to figure out the solution to each of these rooms and what the ultimate solution of this place is.
Well, first, just because it might not be a terrible idea, I am to in like one of the corners pretty much, just in case we're here a long time.
Okay. And so it's just going to be a door.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we can just sleep down here that way when we're done.
Okay. Perfectly fine.
Well, how long does that last?
24 hours.
24 hours.
Ah, sweet. Okay, cool.
Do me a favor and... Okay, I see. So, okay. Do me a favor and everybody in the room make a dexterity saving throw, please.
God damn it, Matt.
Yeah, Matt, what are you doing?
You guys thought this was a good idea when we left last time. We discussed this.
I believe my words were closer along the lines of, I really don't give a shit what you do.
Yeah, that from you is a sign of, okay, let's do this.
Let's do this. That's the equivalent. So we're doing dex saves?
I don't give a
Uh-huh.
fuck. Yeah, let's do this.
We have plenty of places to go that we haven't explored yet.
What happened there? I
Okay.
don't know if that even worked for me.
It didn't.
No, yours didn't show
There,
up.
my cat is hiding my shame.
Stop rolling to yourself.
How did you know? No, it actually says all on it. So
Okay, because it's
Like,
usually
roll-
what the thing is. Okay.
yeah, that's usually the problem.
Real quick before we move to the results, does anybody want to use their inspiration or have any means of gaining advantage on that saving throw before I tell you what happens?
When
I wish I had it.
Statement.
I
Yeah,
have
that-
inspiration, but I'm not going to use it because it's worse.
Yeah, Indomitable, there you go.
Fuck me.
Nice.
I gotta help.
Do you want an Indomitable as well, Andy?
That's it there.
No, I got a 19.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So
Andy's like the only one that probably succeeded.
you watch as Zelbor moves over to the corner of the room, back over probably this way, I'm assuming. Back in the bottom left corner.
Yeah, some corner. Yeah, bottom left works, I suppose.
You walk over there, you start your machinations, cast a spell. It opens up the small portalway, becomes an actual physical door. And as you open the door, instead of entering into a mansion as you anticipate, this black void starts drawing everything in the room into it. You're not sure why, and you're not really thinking about that, as your body is basically pulled in towards it.
All right, give me a new character sheet. I'll just start working on that.
No, hold on. Bear with me here. I just have to do a bit of research. That was not something I was anticipating, so give me a second.
You just open an extra dimensional space in an extra dimensional space.
Aw, yeah, that's right.
I didn't think that this area was an extra dimensional space.
Oh, I didn't either.
Do you remember how you got in? And the word that I specifically said?
He climbed down a rope. Well, fell down a rope.
Does anybody remember it precisely? You guys walked out on a bridge. The center of the bridge was like a disc, like floating in the air in this circular or this spherical room. There was no base. It wasn't connected to the bottom. And then a hole appeared inside of that base, that platform.
Oh,
And when you looked underneath the
right.
bridge, there was nothing there. So you guys,
Oh,
it was
see, I did
definitely
not
extra
remember that.
dimensional.
yeah.
Yeah. You didn't. That's all right. You can cancel it now, can't you? Or is it too late? Is it like?
Nope, it lasts for 24 hours.
Well,
Can't do a thing
it
about
lasts for a couple of seconds actually, but yeah.
Uh-oh. You know what? If we all got sucked in there and died, that'd be a quick ending to the entire campaign.
Save me a
As I
lot of
said, I
trouble.
think the only one that lives is Hawk.
I can grab somebody probably.
Might as well save Malik or Zelbor. They have more plot relevance than I do.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
but-
sad.
Yeah.
Save the plot relevant.
Yeah, man. Like, I can roll a new fighter. That's easy.
Okay.
Pull
So
off those other two, we lose 2 orbs and have to go get them again.
okay. You watch as everything in the corner of that room, including Zelbor, vanishes.
Oh crap.
Oh no.
Okay, first of all, I have a 300 whatever.
What? Say what you're gonna say.
No, it doesn't matter. Just go with it. I
What?
was going to say it has a 300-foot range. I'd act. Just
You-
suck me into the hole.
You keep muting. Like, did you not walk over there and cast it, or you just pointed over to it?
I'd imagine I would have just pointed because again, it has like a 3 range.
Okay,
So
fair enough.
I can't see why I would actually like walk over there. I'd probably just like zap it into a corner.
Makes sense. Okay, then the lot of you are just going to take this. Bear with me.
No.
If you succeeded on your saving throw, half of that. If you failed it, take one full. If you failed to take full. My brain doesn't work
Okay.
sometimes. As rocks basically
happened?
fly across the room and smash into everybody as they are drawn towards the portalway. As quickly as it opens, it shuts, and the magic doesn't seem to have worked.
I guess we're not resting in there. Captain Obvious, they call me.
So there are a couple of different rooms that we haven't explored yet.
Yes.
That person
there
Puzzles
are
we
a lot.
haven't
82,
solved.
3.
So I know that the Huntress was up here to the up by the cache, but then to the left, and it was cold wind, and I kind of retreated back. I didn't want to go in alone, but it might be something we could all do together. Or there's the Tyrant, the Saint, and the Manicore.
Yeah, there's a couple that we kind of already know what we're supposed to do, so we may want to do the easy ones first. That's what I'm thinking.
That's fine.
Like one of them was the judge. Basically, we solved it once, but what we want to do is we want to solve it and have, like, be innocent beyond a shadow of doubt, because then we can go through the door and fight whatever it is we need to fight. But I don't
Or
remember.
that door might just take us to one of the other doors, or one of the other.
Maybe it could take us to like the Manicore, or the Saint, or the Tyrant. We don't know. Yeah.
Then there's the
Or-
transparent dwarves, and there's the dragon.
Right. Another one is the soldier. We need to go because we didn't really solve it, but we know what the solution is. We need to give it a magic weapon or armor, and we need to follow its path, which will lead to somewhere different because it's going to cut through that army. We'll go somewhere different. I thought of a catch here, a technicality. I'm going to try it when we get to that to see.
The only magic weapon I have is my special sword, and I just can't give that up.
Right, I'm not giving him my trident, so I'm going to give him my dagger, which I am going to beforehand cast magic weapon, which lasts an hour as long as I concentrate. So before we go there, I'll cast that on it. It'll look like I have a magic dagger. I'll give it to him. It's a little dishonest, but you know what? I'm not giving him our
Make an
best
Arcana
magic
check.
weapons. I'm horrible at Arcana, but
I know.
will try. I will try anyways.
It's not.
Ooh,
It's
look
not
at
for.
that.
It's not for me. It's for you. But you would know that from the description that was given to you. Because were you in the room the first time it went through?
Yeah.
You were? Okay, so you actually watched. Basically, when a magic item is broken violently, a real magic item, the residuum inside of it detonates, like explodes, in a light effect. Um, but if used by someone, you know, who's a hero, it could be more of a detonation. By the detonation you saw, this guy's got to be some kind of hero. Um, but you know that a enchanted magic item will break like a regular item, not like a magic item.
Bummer. Well, the only other thing I'm thinking I would want to give him would be maybe my magic armor, which would really suck for the rest of the game because then I would be real easy to hit. So unless anybody else has something, I can get maybe. Wait,
I got dragon bones. Do you think that'll work?
it's not a magic weapon though. Does anybody have
No,
like a
but I
lame
didn't know if
magic
it
weapon?
has any. I don't have any magic weapons. I've got
I
magic
don't have
items.
any
I got braces of
weapons,
archery
really.
and gauntlets of ogre power, but both of those are gonna nerf me pretty hard.
Yeah, that
I
would
mean, the
suck.
bracers aren't that big of a deal. Losing -1 to ranged attacks isn't the
I'm
end.
thinking maybe unless did you have something, Zelbor?
Nothing that is not awesome.
Right,
Let's
but I
delay that
thought,
then.
yeah, we can wait until we check all the other
Yeah, we may
rooms.
find a stupid magic weapon or something, like a magic platypus whacker or something.
That'd be dope.
That would be dope. We might not want to get rid of that one.
Goes with the
But-
theme of
So
the
is it a
dungeon too.
whacker for specifically for platypuses, or is it a whacker that's shaped like a platypus? 'Cause I want a
I thought it
platypus.
was a whacker that created a platypus.
Oh my god, like the chicken gun?
Blew my damn mind.
Ratchet and Clank?
You're supposed to use it to hit them in the platypus.
That is awesome.
Or
Where is that?
So,
Let's do that one last then. Let's go to the
Very
judge first.
Which one is that? Which symbol is that?
The judge?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, now you're asking me stuff. I just deleted
So,
off that.
I have to open up the
One-
handout.
Yeah, I have to open it up too, but I'm just gonna let you do it. You're good
That's
at that.
fine.
That
It's
one,
on
right?
this one down here.
All
the
right,
best way to
let's do
remember it for future reference. What does it look? What does it look like? The symbol? It kind of looks like
a
scales,
fish. Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, scales, yeah.
like a balance.
Oh, okay, cool. We'll forget that in about an hour.
No problem.
So can we travel around the room okay now, even though this portal is kind of opened up?
No, the portal just-
It's gone.
Okay.
Yeah, basically it popped and then like just shut itself.
So, know this, guys. When we go in there, whoever gets accused of the crime, you have to be innocent beyond a shadow of a doubt. Otherwise, it's not going to work. We're just going to
Okay,
end
I
up.
didn't tell you about the judge's room at all, so you don't know that.
Oh, well, then tell me. Well, I figured you did. Tell us about it
Nope. Not going
Do,
to tell you.
do we know how to get to the next step? Zell, where's the door?
So when you come inside of this chamber, there is no door. This small little room off to the bottom there. On the southern wall, however, there is a pair of hands that are coming out of a relief out of the wall. The two hands look like they kind of have a slight looseness to them. They seem to be kind of free floating against the stone by some form of mechanism. You can tell by the slits behind the arms and underneath the arms that they can go up or down. But there seems to be a wizened old man who looks familiar to Zelbor that is in relief with his hands outstretched.
Huh.
Maybe the person
That
to be
guy looks
judged needs
familiar.
to be the one who grabs the hands?
Maybe. Do you want me to try it?
Mhm.
Do you remember how this works, Zell? You're going to tell us, or we got to figure it out?
I mean, I haven't been to this place yet.
Oh, really? I thought you were the one.
He
who-
came
I've
into.
been here, but I went here a different way, so I have no idea how this works.
Oh,
Because I went in through the mother's thing.
right. Maybe we should go in through the mother. That might be easier.
Hawk, go ahead and make me a history check before you turn around and head on your way.
Oh, you're right. It does lead to the judge and the wraith. The mother does. Let's go to the mother then.
Okay, you guys go to the mother. And just for just speed's sake, I'm not going to move you to that map again. But you are moving through it up the hill to the southern exit out of the forest line, right?
Right.
Okay. As you pass through the trees become like stone, the stone becomes like wood, and you enter into a large courtroom. The courtroom is filled. It doesn't currently show people, but there are stands on the sides, left and right, people kind of yelling, etc. A man stands up on a high platform, and he rings a gavel. You can see up ahead that there are two kind of glass orbs set on pedestals with lightning kind of cackling through them, a metal orb set inside of the middle of those orbs. Think the Tesla sphere, or yeah. And then in the middle of the chamber is a few markings on the ground. Hawk, you're in law enforcement, so you would recognize this as a permanent zone of truth. Stepping into that ring in the center means you speak the truth and can't. If you resist, it'll be noticed. The judge says, "To you who are accused, we will try you at once. You're all guilty. Or at least that is the current judgment against you. How do you plead?"
I would step forward, say, I plead not guilty.
Okay. You step into the ring, or you just step forward to...
Oh, I guess I would step into the ring because, you know,
Okay. You can feel the magic wash over you. Do you accept it, or do you try and resist it?
I will accept it.
Okay. So when you say the words "not guilty," instead of saying that, you specifically actually say "guilty," because you are currently under an issue where you think, in some regard, even though you're right by it, but you're not sure. You feel like, in a way, you kind of caused the death of the Wayfinder.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know this was about the Wayfinder.
This is about
This is-
anything.
It's about anything, yeah. And
Anything.
so he says guilty. The second he says guilty, the entire audience of the chamber are just, oh, like, oh, boom, boom, boom. The gavel slams again, silencing the crowd. And he looks to you, and he looks to the others. And what of you? Do you take on your associate's guilt, as is mandated by the charges against you?
It's mandated that we take his punishment for his own guilt or for our own
You are guilty as well.
of the same crime.
You're guilty of the same crime. No crime's been stated for Malik yet. He just said that he's guilty.
What are the charges?
And the charges are that you are guilty of the deaths of many, especially you, warmonger.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
oh. Oops, I'm feeling really bad about choosing this now.
And you know your charges, he says to the tiefling, looking at him.
Listen, the only person I killed was that librarian.
That was awesome. It was just his arm.
Right.
Yeah,
And
sure.
all librarians are bastards. We all know that from Parks and Rec.
Right. Wait. Everyone kind of like starts. There's whispered musings, and you hear somebody kind of close to you say, "I like Parks and." But anyways, and you know your charges as well, Elf. Step forward into the ring, and tell us how you plead.
Since I already went this, do I have to do it again?
Mm-hmm.
I plead this is repetitive.
You step into the zone of truth, and this time, if you are put to the question, this time around, your response will be different. For some reason, there's this just weighing guilt on you for the time that you cut off a dude's arm, and it led to his death. You have this sympathetic kind of guilt, and so when he puts the question to you as you step in behind Malik, you say guilty.
And repetitive.
And repetitive. The crowd doesn't seem to have much of a concern or care about this matter. Hawk and Boo.
Yep.
The two of them have walked forward and pled guilty to something. You're not sure what, but as you kind of look to Malik and he kind of looks around, you can see that he's kind of focusing on his head tail. And you've had conversations with him, throughout. Like, you understand how he feels in regards to what happened to the Wayfinder. Reading Malik isn't hard, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Where is it on his sleeve?
It's right there at the beginning.
I have a herniated head tail.
Okay.
Oh, gosh. You put a damn hat on that.
Stop that. Okay, Hawk would step forward.
And how do you plead? You are not compelled to speak the words guilty, but I need you to make an insight check.
Okay. Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Pretty solid one. So wisdom insight, good deal. You start to kind of get an idea of what might be he might be charging you with, even though the charges haven't been stated prominently. They've been kind of vaguely stated. Based on Malik and Zelbor's responses and just Malik's reaction, you're currently being charged of murder, terminating another life. And he is saying that you're guilty of this charge. So basically, you would know at this stage of it, you're not guilty, but the reason why you would think you're not guilty is because all of those cases were either, in lawful action or self-defense.
Mm-hmm. So when he asks whether or not he's not asking whether or not I'm guilty. I'm just standing there.
No, he asked you when you stepped forward and he finally stepped in the circle. He asked you, and what say you? What do you plead? And you're not compelled like the other two were to say guilty. You can say whatever you want.
I'm going to say we are the cursed of Tovash Naranon. That's what I'm going to say.
That is true.
Not a plea.
What is your plea?
Not guilty.
You kind of hear some muted whispers to the side, and he says, "Not guilty." Then tell me why you feel that's the case. Tell me why you feel you and your friends are not guilty of the charges that are set against you.
It is true we have killed, but we have always done so in the right.
In the eyes of who?
In the eyes of the law.
The law is mandated by mortals.
That's the law we follow.
At least you are earnest. At least you are honest with your words. And you feel that these two, the ones who were willing to speak forward and say that they were guilty, that they are not guilty, that the deaths that they have caused were done in the service of the law, in the service of what is right. He kind of narrows his eyes at Zelbor.
I know they have goodness in their hearts, and they've worked for a good end.
Spoken like a true politician.
Maybe.
And what say you? He kind of gestures to the elf in the back.
Without stepping into the circle, I will respond to him saying, I don't need to approach there. You know I'm guilty.
He kind of gives a smile, and he says back to Hawk, and what of your compatriot? What of the mercenary? What of the one who takes coin for such activities? Would you say that he was in the right in the law?
He's a more recent companion, so I don't know his full history,
Oh,
but again, he's served us well.
Spoken like a true politician.
Right.
Trying to distance yourself away from the bad guy. I get it. It's fine. I'm not part of the group. That's fine.
No, defend him. out of character, defend him. Like what you said is basically going to lead Boo to the chopping block in regard.
Oh, I don't want to leave with the shot. Basically, I'm saying is that it seems as if Boo knows he's done some wrong. All I know is what he's done when he's been with us, which has been noble and brave.
Okay. Well, he's already spoken his mind. So basically, like, forced hand based on role-playing in the past, Zelbor expressed guilt for having done what he did. He didn't care that it was done. He got what he wanted, but he knew what he did was wrong based on the giggling and the things that led after that point. Malik has stressed a couple of times his guilt for the Wayfinder's death. And Boo was the one that was kind of the toss-up in the air, but he has also stated that he too is guilty. He doesn't need to step into that zone of truth to express that. That means that the only person who can defend any one of these parties is you. And you've defended the other two besides Boo pretty well so far, but I need you to come up with in your mind a defense for why Boo is not guilty for the deaths that he caused.
What deaths did he cause?
Ask him. Yeah.
What deaths did you cause?
More than I can remember.
Trying to help you here, man.
Yeah. I've since I left my clan, I have not been anywhere near good. The closest I've done is with you guys. I can't say that atones for my sins, but I am who I am, and I'm willing to face the price.
He's on a path of redemption.
Yes.
He's on a path of redemption, but that does not quiet the voices of the dead. That does not make what is right. That does not change the fact that he, of his own volition, of his own decision, killed those people.
Can I go full Game of Thrones and say trial by combat?
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
Make a history check.
Trying, I'm working it.
Good luck, man.
History intelligence.
But like, I apologize.
Let me use lucky.
Okay, I think you used it once last session, just one time. So this will
4
be
in total.
this will be number 2.
Okay.
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 So one of the things that he specifically spoke was that Boo was the measured hand as to his killings. Like, he was the one who decided to do that. That's not accurate. So if a town guard kills somebody, he does it not just because they're, determined against the law, but also because that's his job.
Nuremberg defense.
Right. Correct.
Mhm.
So he is a operative who is paid to do a job. The job is given to him by an employer. He is not the agency behind the action. He is the implement.
Mhm. So could I try again then?
Yes.
So I will try again. He might have been the instrument of someone's death, but he wasn't the cause, and the dead would have died anyway by another hand.
A fair assessment. So, redemption and intention. His intent was not to kill them. His intent was to acquire coin.
Pretty damn good at it too. Only loud enough for Hawk to hear.
The judge,
Careful.
The judge seems to shake his head just a little bit, and he says, "So long as your compatriot is willing to invest himself in a different profession from this point, I will allow for you to pass beyond this point, innocent, cleared of all charges. I need him to step into the zone and swear that he will never take another's life for coin."
Quick question. What happens if he does?
Well, he has to swear.
I need him to step into the zone of truth and swear that he will not.
Hawk will
Right, but
motion
what happens if he
Boo
swears
into
that
the
he-
zone of truth.
What will
I
happen if
need
he swears
him-
that he will not, and then he does.
I need him to step into the zone and swear that he will not continue his life's profession.
We're not going to know, Matt.
What's
He'll
that?
explode.
Any particular phrasing you'd like me to use, Judge?
If you would kindly say, I relinquish all connections, contacts, and desires to take coin for the termination of another's life. If I kill as my own decision, and will not be able to use this defense forthwith.
There's like a noted moment of silence where he legitimately considers whether or not it's worth like dying, because this whole life has been that like killing for coin is how everyone in his family and everyone throughout the generations has survived. You're like asking him to give up who he is as a person, and that's really difficult. But I guess I don't have really other options, so he repeats the...
Basically, what you realize happens is that what he's basically stating is that if a situation comes to this again, you feel this magical compulsion that if you try to use this defense again and say, no, they paid me to do it, I'm just a sellsword, or I'm just a mercenary, you will be compelled to tell them otherwise. You'll be compelled to tell them you're guilty.
Understood.
You can continue your profession all you like, understanding that you will no longer be able to say that it's not your choice to kill.
Right. Now I
Are you
have...
trying to intimidate the Judge Hawk?
No.
That's fair.
They're not guilty!
He says you have two options. You can take the passage to the antechamber, or you can continue on to see the monarch. But there will be a fight in that. I tell you, be prepared. Just as he told
no,
Zalvor.
the monarch's where we just came from, though.
No,
Didn't we come from the mother?
the mother. The mother's not a monarch. Matriarch is the word you're thinking. Monarch is a king.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Which one is that?
Yeah, it's not on the list here.
It's not on the list, no.
Maybe we just passed a puzzle, guys.
Oh, maybe it's actually the tyrant.
Oh, the tyrant?
And maybe the judge calls him the monarch. But we got to go there anyways, right? I mean, we're going to have to go. That's our whole purpose of coming here, was so we can get through to that door to find out what happens.
The whole point is to unlock all the doors, so through we go. Or at least I do.
As you guys head towards that door and reach out for the handle, he slams the gavel down once, and you just feel like, whoa, and you kind of all stop. He turns and he walks over to Hawk, turns the gavel around so that the handle's out, and he's holding the head of it, and he hands it to you.
Hawk accepts it.
This will guide you through as needed, not through the monarch, but in the future it may be useful to you. Because of your defense, because of your nature, I will allow you to keep it. And he goes back over to the desk, or the podium, and just kind of stands there, and you open the door. Looks like it goes into a dark hallway, just like most of the doors you've seen so far in this place. You walk.
A dark and stormy hallway.
It was very scary. But if you continue through it, I assume you are. It's about 10 feet wide. I assume you take kind of a marching order. Hold on a second.
Dibs on not in front.
Right.
What else is new?
You guys, no, never mind.
Look that up.
Oh shit! I would have actually had a. I forgot to add my +5 to my saving throw. Let me see if it adds in automatically. It's too late.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's the difference between 15 and 8 damage. It's no big deal. You guys walk through. The stone begins to give way to kind of just looser stone. It looks like old stone walls that you would see kind of lining farmlands that are kind of built up between as like property lines out in the fields of Stormloft Kingdom. Hawk, this is very familiar. territory for you as the sun kind of bathes into the passageway, and you kind of step out. The very first thing that you see ahead of you is a path that leads into kind of a grassy area with trees and the like. And then the next thing you see, and the most prominent thing that you will see, is dozens, possibly dozens, maybe you don't know how many, hobgoblins, all wearing decent-looking armor of a uniform variety. They look very martial, very prepared, and as you kind of come into the light, they all raise their weapons skyward, and looks like they're ready for you. Roll initiative.
Oh
Issue
boy.
ties. All right. We can do that. We like to roll initiative.
Pretty good at it.
Yeah. It's just rolling.
Rolling, rolling, rolling. Initiative rolling.
Hawk, you can go before me.
Sure. I think it's highest dex first, right? My dex is
-1.
Oh, okay, so I go first then.
Yeah, that's why I said that. You're fast.
-1. Oh wait, wrong thing. Initiative. Hey, that's terrible. I rolled a 3.
Okay. I believe Hawk has less. Who has what are you guys' dexterity? You already did that, right?
We took
Yeah.
care of it, yeah.
You're the worst.
Malik has less.
Malik has less, yeah.
Okay. So Hawk, it seems that you have the initiative. It looks like they are all prepared. From the looks of it, you can kind of see that they each have like dots on them. You can see that they all have kind of uniformity to them, but it looks like each of them has different colored pauldrons. So you can see that some of them have red pauldrons, some of them have green pauldrons, some of them have different colored pauldrons throughout.
Pauldrons are the shoulder things, right?
Correct.
Thank you.
And there's a different one at the very rear, isn't there?
There are quite a few different ones towards the back, to be sure. There are some that are in rows, but they still have pauldrons, and there's definitely one that is much, much different all the way in the back.
Holy shit.
He looks like he might be some sort of war chief. In fact, he actually has banners that are shot out of his back with the basically it's the Roman numeral for 2 on his back banners.
Okay.
All right. That's it. You get the first. What you do?
As a free action, can I bang the gavel on the shield?
Yeah, it makes a noise. So
Can
you
I
do-
say, how do
you-
you plead?
You don't have a sword drawn.
Oh.
You have the
No,
gavel.
I want my sword. I want my sword.
Okay,
Just goofing.
so you're not doing that at all. Okay. You draw your sword. Didn't have the gavel out. I'll be fine. I'll be fair.
Right.
I'll be nice. You draw your sword. Then what?
I draw my sword. I I take my free action and I bang it against the shield and I say, how do you plead?
They don't seem
They
to
don't
look any less determined, with eyes filled
So-
with hate and rage.
Do they have ranged weapons?
It doesn't look like any of them really do, no.
Okay, is there a place looking on the map for that we can do a bottleneck? How does that work?
No, doesn't seem. There's the passageway behind you, but based on your experiences with the other passageways, the second you pass a threshold, the world behind you just kind of fades away.
Hmm.
We could just try talking to them first.
They're still screaming battle cries.
Oh. Right, forgot about that. Kill them.
As you're saying your words, yeah.
There's an awful lot of them to go through.
That's right.
So I'm gonna hold an action, and if any one of them makes a move to attack, then I'll take the attack action.
So you are basically, if they come in close, you'll take the attack action. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
also, John, you said that they don't seem to have ranged weapons.
Not that
That's
you
what
can,
he said, right?
Not that you can tell. No, it doesn't look like they do.
Maybe we can talk out of it.
All right. Malik.
Say something, Malik.
All right. say something. Oh gosh, thanks. All right,
Yeah, you're the diplomatic one.
Make friends.
that's true. All right, you know what? Thanks a lot for helping, Hawk, by pulling out your sword and banging it on your shield, because that was really helpful. All right, so I'm gonna step.
friendly.
Actually, I'm gonna step forward anyways. This is probably gonna kill me, but
No,
I'm
no,
gonna
no.
step forward to there, and I'm gonna put up my arm and say, "We come in peace. We mean you no harm."
You can hardly hear yourself speaking over the sound of the battle cry.
Holy shit, it's that loud, huh? All right, so that was my free action.
Yep.
I'm going to pull out of my backpack. I'm going to say, all right, this doesn't look like it's going well. Pull out of my backpack a little bowl, put a little bit of water in it, and conjure a friggin' elemental, because I think it could be helpful in this situation. So it's a level, whatever it is. I think it's a minimum level, which would be level 5.
Mhm.
Boom. Boom. So elemental will join me right here.
Okay, hold on a second.
Standing there waiting to kick some arse.
Okay. Bear with me here. Sorry.
Yeah,
That's actually really helpful. If you stand up there, I think we could probably maybe, Boo, if we can get over here. Do you see where I'm pinging? Maybe we can
Yeah.
bottleneck them in 2 places.
I feel like I'd be more effective shooting from the back with the arrows.
Okay, great.
Yep.
As
Because
you,
I don't have a melee weapon, because we used that the first time to break
Okay.
to find out that it was a magic weapon that needed to get broken. Like I handed him my magic longsword, so I'm currently melee weaponless.
How about I give you my warhammer?
Or actually, didn't someone give me something
I
last time?
thought I gave
Yeah.
you my warhammer last time.
Yes, you did. So I do have your warhammer, but I'm more effective with the arrows.
as you guys watch him like try and conjure up from the bowl, just like he has done several times before, but never in this place. You watch as the water becomes hard water and then becomes stone. So the bowl breaks, and out from the broken bowl comes an earth elemental. Still directly under your command, but it breaks the item.
You can see a look on my face. Everybody can read it perfectly. It's like, what the fuck, elemental? What the hell, man? You just broke my bowl.
Yeah, make a Arcana check, Zelvor.
Right. I think.
Can I make that check as well?
Yes, please.
You guys see a single tear go down my side.
Oh, the salty, salty tear.
Yes.
Boo, you're confused, but you think you have it, Zelvor, and the nature of this plane that you exist in apparently is very Earth-related. The first time that you kind of caused an extra-dimensional calamity, all of the rocks in the room flew into the space, even though normally an extra-dimensional rip like that would only cause things close to it to be sucked in. But all the stones in the room moved because of that that rip. And then this time, when you tried to conjure a water elemental from the elemental chaos, it broke the censure, it broke the device that you were using, and summoned an earth elemental instead. So it would seem that the nature of this plane is very earth-aligned.
Gotcha.
Keep it positioned right there, Mel.
Yep.
I'm just trying to see
I'm
something
going to
else.
do that. I'm very sad, though. This has ruined my day.
Yeah.
If you have movement, you can go over here, and we can try to block this area as well, the 2 of us.
It's a hard knock life for Mel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Boo, you're on 7.
Cool. Have any of them tried to hit us yet?
They are still
Nope.
just yelling.
I'm gonna do the same thing as Hawk, kind of like knock an arrow and get ready to shoot. And as soon as one of them like moves or becomes hostile, they're getting fucked.
Okay, ready in action to fire shots. Got it. Zelvor.
How much effort does it take to pull my broom?
You could do it as if you were pulling a weapon. It's fine.
Okay, I want to pull my broom out and just fly up little distance.
Okay. Yeah, you can go up as far as you like. How far up do you want to go?
I basically want to go just far enough that I would outside of melee range from anything that comes attacking us.
Okay. Just give me like a number.
Uh, probably like, let's say 20 feet.
Okay. So you can see just the tops of the trees. You can't really see over them yet. You can see the people inside of these trees because they're old growth trees. Well, not old growth to like high ends, but they aren't like bushy trees. Well, they are kind of, but you get what I'm saying. Like you can't see what's going on the other side. Okay.
And then also, I was going to say, also, I'm going to just ready an action to cast a spell spell on a cluster of them if they start moving in to attack friends.
Okay, so what happens is you can see from your vantage that the leader, the guy in the far end, raises a flag. The flag is red, and he raises a second flag, and the flag is green. And the second he splits the second flag, all of the hobgoblins turn and look back at him, turn back and look at you guys, battle cry again, and start advancing in a rush. Go ahead and take your shot.
And I'd like to try to get this cluster. Yeah, like
that group in the front.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's a 20-foot radius.
Yeah,
so it should.
It'll get like well, if you want to.
If I can center it like in the middle of them.
Hold on.
I'm pretty sure.
Hold on, I got something for this.
And then Boo held an action and so did Hawk.
Yep.
Oh yeah, shit, my shot goes off too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm planning on going to the east over here and trying to block this area as best I can.
Okay. You said foot radius?
Yeah, it's a 20-foot radius. So I think if I get it like right here, I get a decent radius of them. That is a nice way to do this.
Hold on a second. You have control over it, and you can hold Alt to drop it off the grid, so you can kind of set it different. So go ahead and set it however you would like.
Probably pull in some down here to the south.
I think that's what would cover the most amount of area for the
So
guys.
If it's covering more than half of a target, it will touch them. If it's not covering more than half of the target, it will not. So the guy who's just on the bottom corner there, he's going to be
that guy. Hold on a second.
If you can finagle it.
Well, hold on. I think this is 35 across. Shouldn't it be 40?
No, it's 40. It's 40. So if you hold on.
No, it's 20-foot radius.
Right. So it's 40-foot diameter. Correct.
Yeah. So if you actually measured from point to point on that circle, look, watch.
It's a total of 8 squares by 8 squares. So it's 40. Yeah, it's right. Hold on a second.
If you measure across the whole middle, like I am, you'll see it.
No, wait, he's measuring from end to end, and that is 40 feet.
That's 40, yeah. It's about the radius.
You can probably give up this one over here and get this one and this one over here.
Well,
and get the special different look.
Just making sure that the size is actually... Yeah.
Also, did that hit? This guy?
Just like a teeny. You want over? Just if you can go just halfway.
Well, hold on a second. I'm
again hold
if there's
Alt
a way
and
to
you can
have
snap it off the grid.
Yeah, if you hold Alt and then let go, it'll set it not on the grid.
What about down around this guy? So it also gets these guys down here because this guy looks scary as fuck.
Well, he's the leader.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, I'm trying also
Okay.
to get it so that we're not as damaged up front too.
Yeah. No, I think that you're real close there.
So I mean, like if
There
I
you go.
drop it there, that is most of the people that will be attacking us.
That's everyone closest
That's pretty
to us.
nice. Yeah.
Okay.
And that way,
So-
you know.
Warrior. Okay, cool. All right, so can you just count out the total number of them? They're all the same. The one in the bottom left is not caught because it's less than half. So just you understand. Count them all.
Yep.
There's 13 people caught in there right now.
Yeah, give me how many?
13.
Okay, here we go.
13. 2 saves, 3 saves. 4.
What do you mean 4? I have a DC of 18.
Oh, you do? Okay, I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
thought it was.
One
Oh.
dude.
2.
Wow, that's awesome.
Wouldn't it be 2
Two.
because that
Two.
one
I see the
failed?
18. Yeah, I see it. I didn't see it.
So that would be
Okay.
2 saved and the rest failed.
Now here's what we do. From the top down, we are going to count across. So fail, 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 fail. Well, fail, 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 success. So this guy. How much damage did it do?
It did 27 psychic damage.
Thank you.
And if you failed, the target has muddled thoughts for 1 minute. During that time, it rolls a d6 and subtracts.
No,
the
you
number
did
of
how much damage
attack
again?
ability checks.
27.
Okay, so I'm gonna just do I'm gonna do you an easy one.
Come here.
Well, I had no idea your DC was 18. That's pretty awesome.
Yep, it went up
They all
level 13.
basically get hit with the
Oh, you're the best, Matt.
with the spell. As you see him kind of like point, you see just static kind of just burst out from the center point, kind of radiating around. But it's this kind of purplish hue, this weird kind of just coloration, and all of them just clench their heads and fall towards the ground. And as they do so, they just start vanishing. Their bodies becoming nothing more than just black ash.
That was awesome.
Maybe I should have just done fireball.
You can do it next turn.
I wanted to try the spell.
And then a shot. I assume you took it right after the fire there, yeah. So
Yeah. I mean, I already hit a 23 way up above.
so the one
Scroll
closest then. Okay, so you hit him.
up. No, wait. Can I hit? Actually, can I hit this guy?
Sure.
Great. Also, that.
Okay. How much damage did you do on the first one?
14 magic.
Okay.
And I also hit everyone within 10 feet
Sure.
of that guy with 8. So
It just does 8
Can I
auto.
take an action as well?
Okay. You specifically stated when they come close to you.
You're right. I did.
all those guys. I'm guessing they're still up, right?
They are.
Didn't drop with 8.
No, they didn't.
Cool. I figured. I get 2 more shots though, right?
Yeah, you took the attack action. It's fine.
Nice job.
We go with these 2 guys. 20 and 29. That's cool.
Yeah. That'll hit both. So they're still standing.
Cool. Oh man, 16 didn't drop that guy. Cool. That's it. That's my turn.
He does appear bloody, if that helps. And then Hawk's ready. And Malik summoned an Earth Elemental. Got it. And
I'm gonna. Okay.
I'm gonna brush.
Gosh, cat.
Slap into base with the rush.
I know, I love you too.
Was that Zelbor talking to Malik?
No,
No.
Matthew talking to his cat.
Here we go.
All right. Man, he's had a lot of loss today with the bowl of commanding water elementals.
Heavy.
So, yeah. Actually, that might still be alive underneath his body, but I haven't checked yet.
I'm not counting on it being alive.
I think that you guys are doing great. That elemental and then that synaptic thing, where those are good pro plays. We're blocking them off on one side.
All right. I need each of you to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 dexterity saving throws.
Each?
But we're going to do it one by one. So for the first dexterity saving throw, this is the thing that's called. Oh, well, hold on. God, I hate
You have-
You have
character
plus 5
sheets.
bonus because you're within 10 feet of me.
I am not. I'm high above you.
No, but Hawk is, I believe, within 10 feet of me.
Mm-hmm. How many bonus?
Plus 5. Boo should have stayed next to me too, actually. Just for the saving throws.
Well, who's launching fireball?
Chances.
Let's try that again. Here we go. So the first one,
Probably this
Um,
guy.
dexterity saving throw against that.
Oh, but maybe this guy.
DC 10.
So we all do it.
That's actually not correct, but yeah, it should be DC 13.
Oh, man, I'm still not that
We have
one.
to take turns, though, right?
Just everybody save against that one real quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have 17, and Hawk has 16.
Oh, it's add 5 onto it. Okay.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay, so if you fail, you take half. If you succeed, you. No, what I said is wrong. If you fail, you take it all. If you succeed, you take half. Is everybody rolled? Everybody
Okay,
good?
so I take
Yeah.
only 6 damage from that too, because I'm.
You resist. You resist. Yeah.
So
yeah.
we take 14, basically.
Second one.
Take 14 if we save.
Correct. For the second one,
Second one.
give me 4
Oh, boy.
total saves.
Let's do this, guys. There we go.
Talk, you still succeed because of Malik. So again, take damage,
So we take half.
and then half of if you're Zelbor. Second one.
This is hurting.
So this is number 3 now.
Correct.
All right, guys, let's do this. I got 17, but you only got 15, so you may be failing this time.
13.
He said it was
DC.
13.
Oh,
13.
13. Sweet. I thought he said 16 for some reason.
13.
Just need one more.
So we're taking a lot of damage here.
Boo.
Yeah.
Damn it.
This is hurting.
And last but not least, one more.
We took 14 because of that.
I'm gonna use Indomitable.
Okay. And you used one Indomitable last session, so that'll be your last one for that.
Okay.
I saved on all of those, and thank goodness for my initial resistance to fire.
13, right on the nose. Good job.
Ooh, boy, that was lucky.
So, yeah. Everybody succeeded, correct? Nobody failed,
Yeah.
right? So that would
So
be,
another 14.
yeah. Let's see,
That
12,
would be 12.
26,
23.
yeah, 26, 38, 38,
Definitely
88,
did a number, though. Jesus.
I'm
38,
confused.
38 and 14 is 52. 52 total damage is what it would have been for half,
52. Okay.
right?
That makes
Don't
sense.
worry, I've been keeping track of for.
Half of 52 is 26, right? So, okay, that appears to have come from the blue ones, not the blue weird horned ones, but the blue ones in the robes in the back. They basically are throwing these spells kind of upward, and they're arcing down towards you like cannon fire. All right, and the ones in the far back, or the one in the far back, the one with the flags, pulls the flags down, and when he does so, all of them finish their movements and kind of stop and kind of look back at him. All right, Hawk, you're up.
Is this one giant game of red light, green light?
Really. As a bonus action, I will do a potion of healing. Just lost a third of my. Oh boy.
Pretty good roll.
Dang it, I forgot to do that. What's it?
And I'm going to take the dash action.
Mhm.
And I can make it, I think, to here.
Anyways, that works.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. No, I can make it farther. I think I make it here. That's what I want.
Okay.
Dashing through the night.
And your action was dash.
I
Okay.
took the dash, yeah.
Gotcha. Malik.
All right. Well,
Heal.
I'm going to command that Earth Elemental. He's basically like a rock-headed stepchild, and I'm gonna command him to start killing these guys that are in front of him.
All right. He starts to slam a jamma.
Right. Now I don't have. It says I looked up on the spell. It says I can command him as a free action to do things.
Yep.
So I figure he's probably just gonna.
He's supposed to have
Yeah,
gun
yeah.
initiative.
Cool.
I'm just gonna have it go on Malik's.
Yeah. So that's what he did. Like what, 24 to somebody, or did he separate him?
So he hits the guy right in front of him. He doesn't fall. Would you want him to continue hitting that same guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
That guy still doesn't fall.
Okay. So now the turn is over. I'm
Heal.
going to, as a bonus action, lay on hands on myself to heal me maybe 20 hit points. And then I need to attack. So actually, you know what I will do instead of attacking? I will cast Guardian of Faith, which takes 1 action to cast, and I can do it within 30 feet of me. So I will place it right here if I can.
Click the spell.
Yep, I'll click it. Sorry, I didn't think about that. That makes perfect sense. Doesn't it? All right, Guardian of Faith. Basically, it just does damage. Just next to it. Is that a 4th level spell? Holy shit. Yep, I guess it is. I'm doing it.
Do it.
Do it. I don't think the saving throw is correct on that. It should be my saving throw. Oh, it is 18 DC. I forgot we're pretty high level. All right. So whenever I'm going to place it so that these things are already close. These first group of people are already close. You know, I'll place it like over here.
Hold on.
Beside it. And then it'll just attack these people and probably kill them and disappear because it can only do 60 hit points of damage. So
Why don't you put it right there between these two groups?
I could do that. Yeah, that's fine. I'll put it right there then. Oh my gosh! What is that little thing there? Oh,
That's it.
Okay. It looked really weird at first when it was really small.
It's under your control. Place it where you want.
All right. Ooh, it is under my control now. All right. I'll place it there. There. Well, I don't want to. Yeah, that's fine. I'll place it there.
Okay. So it appears any creature hostile to you that moves to a space makes a dexterity saving throw. So they have to move. So the ones that are adjacent to it move anywhere besides away from it. Actually, to a space within 10 feet. Yeah, all of the ones that are adjacent to it are going to have to on their turn. They'll take their damage if they don't succeed. And it vanishes once it's dealt a total of 60. Okay.
Right.
I get it.
Right.
Good action. Boo.
I'm gonna move back a tiny bit too,
I'll
just
understand
to get these guys within my range of saving throw.
I'm aiming for this stupid motherfucker in the back.
Okay. Your current vantage point, there's no way you could target that individual.
Okay, what if I move
If you move over here, like behind
Here?
these trees,
that?
uh,
Oh no, what? Wait,
that-
I have a better idea. Can I do this? Hold on. That's not what I meant to do. Because I'm gonna like actually move like 5. Blah. Like there?
okay. So yeah, you'll have a good shot on him, but he'll have the tree line in the way, which will count for concealment, which will give you disadvantage on your attack unless you ignore concealment. And then he has the rocks in front of him, so he'll have cover. Say just regular +2 cover. Your sharpshooter. You don't care about any of the things I just said. I got you. Go ahead and make the attack.
That's what I thought.
I think he has.
Yeah. Yeah, I just threw that shit up. But yeah, okay. I want to do this sharpshooter though, like +10 damage for the
Okay.
first one at least.
So that'll be +10.
Yeah. -5. I'm gonna do that all 3 times actually.
That hits
Nice.
him.
Drops.
Second shot.
Yeah.
That will miss.
Cool.
That'll
Oh,
hit. So
That's
14,
nice.
25, 24, right? He's still standing and in the greatest tradition.
Cool. I also
23,
want
not-
to.
Oh no, wait, you're right because 19. Never mind. Ignore me.
He's on his Chad's leg, if you get what I'm saying. You chatted.
Yeah, I got it. I got it. This is not a good way to start like the first fight of the night, and I'm really, man.
So close.
Matt gets this fucking beautiful moment, and I just like jerk myself off. It's fucking.
If you didn't miss that middle one, he'd be a stain, dude.
I
Zelda.
do that. Oh wait, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna finish him. This one's not
Do it.
sharpshooter.
All right. That'll hit. That'll kill.
yes.
You knock the
Great,
wizard
and I've
down.
also got 2 more attacks. Can I AC
Beautiful.
this guy from here?
The one farther behind, or no, that one because of the things in between. You're basically.
If I move I have 5 more feet. If I move 5 more feet over, is that a better angle? Here. There's a giant guardian.
Do you
in the
see how
way.
much shit you're shooting through? Yeah, like.
I thought I was around the guardian.
But-
I'm high as fuck. Back the fuck up. I can't see lines until you draw them for me.
Do you see that? Do you see that line?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I can hit the. Can I
One
hit
further
the?
back.
Can I hit this one?
Again, same reason you can't say. Oh, the one at the very bottom.
Yeah, the chief,
Go for it.
Mr. Flag Bearer, right? I
Are
can
you-
hit that. I
are
got
you-
like 100. I got 600 feet of range. Ah,
That's pretty awesome.
Are you doing them sequentially and seeing what the first one does before you move on, or?
Yes, sir.
All right, you fire the arrow. Don't roll a dice. You see the arrow come flying towards him, and stop.
Okay.
It doesn't move. It just hangs in space.
Oh man.
What
Will you
happens
say
when he
that?
puts up the green flag?
It goes.
Can I do that? Or does he negate that?
I'll allow it. This thing's cool.
Fuck yeah. I'm gonna use my magic
That
to
is a
fucking
neat effect.
magic.
Do a different one, right?
Oh god damn it. God damn it.
You watch as the arrow like
So upset.
stops in midair, and then like the head of it turns to go towards the guy behind that wizard that you were initially going to aim at, but the back end of the arrow doesn't go with the head of it, and it goes just a little bit, and then it kind of wobbles and falls into the ground because the back end of the arrow is still hanging in space over in front of the hobgoblin chieftain guy. All right, and you have one more shot.
Yes. This one's gonna be against the target I can see, the bottom
Yep, the wizard.
firewall guy. Not sharpshooter, but I don't know if 17 hits. Does a 17 hit?
Am I showing the wrong screen? How am I showing the wrong screen on Twitch? What are you talking about?
I'm seeing Never mind. Maybe I'm at the wrong place. Never mind.
What?
I might have snapped out of it for a second. You might have seen
No, you're good.
Overwatch buds, but
No, you're good. My bad.
yeah, my background is just Overwatch buds. Anywho, that will. You didn't sharpshooter, you said, right?
No, not sharpshooter. I'm just trying to hit him this time.
That'll wound. Yeah. Looks like it does a decent amount of damage.
Okay, cool. And if that does hit, I also wanted that, and that's my last arcane shot.
Psychic damage. Okay. Solid hit, and looks like he's bloodied. All right, moving on to the bottom.
Wisdom saving throw? Did he fail?
I just said he did. Yeah. He just took the
Oh,
damage. All right. The tyrant looks at the arrow, and as he does so, you just see it wither into dust and fall away from him. Then he looks back over to the field of battle and raises his flags, one and then another. The first flag he raises is red. The second flag he raises is red, and after raising the red flag, he points it off to the right side. His right. So that would be the right side of the field. The second he does so, the remaining mages turn and look that general direction.
Oh, shit.
Hobgoblins who are currently engaged with Spirit Guardians and what have you look in that direction, and everyone seems to be looking in that direction. They all
if I could, Hawk.
yell out a
I'm
battle
sorry.
cry. All right. First things first, go ahead and make me 3 dexterity saving throws.
Who?
Hawk.
If I was within range, I'd counterspell it.
1. DC's 13. Fail.
Lucky.
Yeah. That's 3 points so far.
I've got 1 lucky left.
Yep.
Nice.
That's a nice reversal.
That's a good reversal, yeah, for sure. And then last one. So you'll fail the last one. So here we go.
You don't have another.
Wait, he said 3, didn't he? Didn't you
I
say
do
3?
have 1 more lucky.
Well, you have 1 more lucky and 1 more indomitable. No more indomitable. Use.
I used the Indomitables.
Mhm.
But he has 1 more lucky if he wants to.
Yeah, I'm gonna blow it.
Might as well, right?
Might as well. Yes!
Oh, nice.
Still taking a boatload of damage.
Yeah.
Well, you're taking half of a boatload of damage.
Okay. They all point at you, kind of look in your general direction, and as their fingers kind of point towards you, you see lightning cackle from them and bolt out from them towards you, and it hits you like a truck.
They're stealing my spell book.
Here we go. One, 2, and the DC's wrong because this thing's stupid. So you're just taking half on all of them, though. I think you succeeded on all. So 14, 12, and 14 is 26, 38 damage. At the half point, yeah.
How you looking?
Down almost 100.
Ooh.
Nice.
Hard on you, yeah.
How much do you have?
I have 75 left.
Okay.
Oh,
This
you
one
still have more
moves
than
away from the Guardian. He fails his save, so takes 20 damage. This one also does likewise. 1, 2, 3. As the ones that are at the north or the south end of it try to move away, you see the radiance of the spiritual guardian kind of focus in on them like a lance of just white hot energy, and they're basically vaporized into ash. This guy who is next to it will run away as well. He too takes damage.
No, wait. After it gives 60 damage, it disappears.
Hasn't
Would that be
it
3 of
hasn't
them?
it hasn't yet. So it's dealt because it doesn't do more than it doesn't excess. So well, yeah, right. It doesn't excess though. So if they take 3 damage, it's not going to do 20. Is the way
I see.
is the way I'm ruling it. If I'm wrong, tell me in the comments. Just go hell, just shut up. I'm DMing. But that one will cause the stop of it. This one will move as well. And last but not least, this one's dashing to get in position.
They can
Does
make
this
it
thing have
through the
reach?
trees? I didn't realize they can make it through the trees.
Trees
Does
aren't, like I said, they're kind of older growth trees. They're inhibiting like line of sight, but they're not inhibiting movement.
I would have
Does
done
that-
something differently then.
Yeah.
Does that rock-headed elemental have get on it?
It'll be attacking the one that's fleeing from it that's adjacent, just to simplify it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it gets one attack, so I just assumed it'd be the closest one. And it'll kill that one.
Nice.
As it smashes down, it envelops the entirety of the hobgoblin with its fist. When it raises its fist, there's nothing more than ash left on the ground.
These are ash holes.
There you go.
All right. Only 3 of these ones are going to get to attack you, though. Hawk.
Okay.
The 2 green ones and the one right above it. All right.
Oh wait, there's a guy under here. Sorry, John. I think there's a guy underneath the edge of this
That's fine.
thing.
If you click on the Spirit Guardian and hit delete, it'll get rid of it.
Oh, okay. I'll do that then. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. All right. So these ones, as they move up, you can see that the weapons that they're brandishing are great swords, and they'll go ahead and attack, initiating with this. So they'll be doing 10 extra damage because they have allies. So first attack, no. Second attack, ooh.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's 13, 23 damage from that blade. And then the other one with his 2 attacks. Miss. Miss. Alright, that's enough for the green ones. And then the one that comes at you from the north, the blue one there.
Hawk's going bye-bye.
He doesn't have a weapon. He just kind of uses his fists. Miss. Hit for 6 damage. What's your AC? 23?
23.
That'll hit. And last one, miss. I'm just rolling good is all.
You are rolling good.
That is it for my attacks. I am spent.
Doing.
He is really bloodied. Really, really bloodied. And speaking of our fighter, it's his turn.
Wait, it was my turn. I went after them last time, remember?
Oh, I thought you went before them. No, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I
Well,
didn't
oh,
get to go this
That's
time.
right.
That much I know.
Hold on. You reacted to them last time, and I
Yeah,
like
I
a
reacted
dumb
to them last time.
and like a dumb DM, I went back into my 3rd edition mode, assuming that that meant that you're now triggering after them. I'm a bad DM. To be super fair and awesome, cool to you, go ahead and take your turn, and I'll be really nice to you forever.
Okay, can I have that radius sphere back again?
No, I deleted it. Do you want to just assume that it gets all of them and the wizard at the bottom, including Hawk?
Yeah.
I want to try to not hit Hawk.
If you're going to try to not hit Hawk, then you're not going to get the bottom one.
Hawk, do you mind if I hit you?
How many damage will it do?
Enough to kill you,
I'll
probably.
do a fireball's worth.
I've only got 41 HP left, so it might put me down.
It's okay. I can bonus action heal you when I'm done.
Hold on, I got you. You're doing a fireball's different. I can do a fireball. That's easy.
But yeah, I can bonus action heal you when I'm. So I'll make sure you aren't unconscious.
That's a real pal.
That's right. I'll hit you with fire, then I'll bring you back.
Yeah. I would have totally done things differently. If I understood the terrain better.
It happens, man. I didn't realize we were in an extra dimensional space.
Yeah.
Otherwise I wouldn't have blown a 7th spell.
You should have control of that.
Yeah.
I like it where it's at right now.
I'm going to leave it there, and yeah, I'll make sure to heal you when I'm done, Hawk.
Okay.
Boom.
Do I need to make a save?
Yes. 18.
Yeah, that's a hard save to make.
Hey!
Good one. He dodges.
Oh,
Sliver.
Ooh. So you take 15 damage.
I did.
Nice.
Got 15 left.
Also, I'm
That's
going
gonna
to
kill
go,
a lot of them.
Oh, wait, is that right?
and you get back 8 hit points.
What did I have before? I can't remember.
You had 47, didn't you? Or I don't remember what you said.
No, not after that last attack.
Hello, Zach's door. And ceiling.
All right. The ones that are to the south there, the red ones, you see those, right? They
Yeah.
appear to be like a bit more leaderly than the ones you've seen so far.
Okay.
As the fire clears, they definitely seem to not even be bloodied by your fireball. The ones that got obliterated definitely are. This guy who's right above them, the green one, he's on his last leg, and so is the blue one there too. They're
Okay.
not.
Also, just to say, I'm still in the air on my broom. I'm going to fly over to here,
Okay.
and I'm just going to sit there.
Above them, 20 feet.
I'm 20 feet above them. I want to be in range of things.
Okay. So he sees that and settles down his flags because that was his turn already. Hawk, you're up.
Yep, Hawk will do second wind.
Yeah, and you did get the 8 points that I sent your way,
Yep.
right? Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
And we'll move here and attack this one.
Okay. The first attack
Nice.
kills him.
Great.
Moving to take the second attack against another one or no?
Sure.
Okay. As Santina cuts through his neck and sends his head spiraling, the head becomes nothing more than just a gout of ash kind of floating about, and his body falls to the ground, splaying as well. Also, the fireball left nothing but ash, but I mean, it probably would have done that even if they weren't weird.
So we'll use that second attack against this one.
Sure, and that'll hit, and that will kill as well. You lunge forward, lance him through the chest, tearing to the side as he kind of just becomes this mess of ash on the ground.
And we'll do our third attack against the other one.
Okay. As you move forward, you can see that he has plate armor and a shield on his arm. He kind of takes a martial, position to defend himself. You bring the blade in tight and high to his head. It hits, and he takes that damage.
Nice. Go Hawk.
And we're going to use Action Surge. Should I do Action Surge? Yeah, we'll do Action Surge.
Well,
Okay. Go ahead.
Same person.
Sure. Hits.
Oh, nice. Beast mode.
Still standing.
Still standing.
2.
He's still standing. Yeah. Sorry. Did you? Okay. Go ahead. Yeah, that hits.
That's number 2.
Yeah. And number
Still
3.
standing.
Still standing.
Last one.
you got this, man.
He gets his after like getting wailed on. He finally gets his shield up and catches Santina. Leans in forward and kind of breathes on you hotly. His breath smells like cinder, and he kind of just keeps the shield in between you, holding the elf blade back. All right, Malik.
Could I take some? I'm gonna go actually take some. I'm gonna withdraw.
You can't withdraw.
No,
because
I'm gonna move back and take an attack of opportunity.
Okay, I like hitting you.
Go ahead.
All right.
I'm gonna go back. I think I have enough movement to get me.
23 hits for 5 damage.
Yeah, fuck you. All right.
You are such a happy camper.
I'm getting smacked.
Yeah. You're getting beat up.
Malik, help me,
All
friend.
right. I will help you.
How do you want to command the Earth Elemental, or do you want to wait until you're done?
I am going to say, Rocky,
Rocky.
point them out at this guy. I'm going to say, go get... Sorry. It's not working. How come? Oh, you know why? Because I'm going to say, go get this guy. So I want him to move down and then reach over and pound him.
Okay, so you're moving to the one on this side here.
I want to get this guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Down and left from Zelbor.
He's like, Adrian.
Rocky doesn't walk like you would expect him to. Instead, he kind of just leans.
I bet
his-
you Rocky walks exactly like I expect him to.
Well, he doesn't.
Yes.
Kind of like
Saunters.
on his side, just.
No, he doesn't walk at all. Actually, he just kind of leans his head forward, and his legs kind of just power slide across the earth, leaving no trace of his presence as he moves across the grass and such. He leans himself in and kind of spirals through or moves through the trees, gets close, and brings in his slam attack. 2 of them against this guy.
Slam him.
First one hits. Second one
Nice.
hits.
Good bludgeoning damage.
29 damage.
Nice.
Good
All
job, Rocky.
It's like a Rocky Horror Picture Show right now.
Correct.
Exactly.
And then your actual stuff.
I will do part of my. Oop, what's going on here? I will do part of my movement, which includes stepping 5 feet closer to my buddy there, Hawk, and then I would stick out my hand, and the healing energy of Nermode would come over him like a wave, and he would heal. Let's see, how much do I want to use on him? I will use 40 lay on hands hit points.
That would be great.
That'll hopefully get him through another fireball or two. I still have
Come on, Boo.
Probably true.
It's probably true. And then I will, since that's a bonus action, and I haven't done a real action yet, I'm going to charge toward these dudes. I guess how much?
Wait, did you? Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Sacrifice.
commanding him was a free, and then bonus.
Lay on hands is a bonus action for sacrifice, right?
Right. And then I would see,
Or mercy.
am I able to move down to here? Because I have a total of 40 move. Let's see, how much is that from where I was? I was up here, I think. Yeah, I can move down. That's just 40 feet. So then I will like charge this guy and jab my steely knife, which is actually a trident, right into his face.
Do it.
And then actually I get 2 attacks, right? Let's see how this works when you attack.
He
That's
gets a
pretty
shield in
good.
between you and him. Catches the trident, like just between the 2 prongs, and kind of turns it away. Go ahead and make your second attack.
And then I will fiercely jab him again.
You actually do finally get him, and you kind of just lance him across the face. He seems to be a bit worse for wear. He's definitely bloodied, but he does still look like he's ready to rock and roll.
Oh,
All right.
I forgot to add something to him because it doesn't add automatically to my attack for some reason because my character sheet sucks. But I get a D8 for Divine Smite automatically. It's
Sure.
called
Yeah, I know.
Divine Smite. So let me click it to win it.
Wait.
That sucks.
Oh, that's for being a cleric. You get that? Hold on.
No, for being a paladin. It's
Oh.
improved Divine Smite, which you get at like high level. I don't remember what level you get that at.
Right. And it automatically just does a D8 on all your attacks, radiant
Yeah,
damage. Yeah, I get you.
automatically D8 Radiant. Does Radiant seem to do extra damage on these guys? Or
No.
Bummer.
No, not at all. And yeah, he just kind of gets singed by hot white radiance. Boo, you're up.
That was my nickname in college, Hot White Radiance.
I'd like to say that first
Now that
the
everything-
league was just prong.
Out of the way, I can hit this guy, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Sharpshooter, by the way. All of these are going to be sharpshooter.
That'll hit and do 20. Okay. That'll hit and do 22. He falls.
Great. And also the next one in line, basically. That guy.
Yep.
Also sharpshooter. Beautiful.
Nice.
Your crit damage is not set correctly, so it should actually be +8, not +2. So 11 plus 8 is 19. 19 plus 10 is 29.
Cool.
All right. And I'm going to fix that real quick, so I don't have to remember it.
Okay. You do you, bruh.
You can't hit this guy down here, can you?
Which one?
That guy behind there, or is that?
I can, if I moved, I could have, but
Okay.
I didn't, so I can't now. You know.
Yeah.
next round I can.
You've
I
said.
just move
All right.
across the.
I've been doing it wrong this whole time, but I guess I will not continue, or I'll continue it as we've been doing it. Zelvor, you'll go after them.
That's fine.
Last turn, I just kind of rounded some extra dice because we've kind of shifted the positions. So you got something for it. A lot of those guys actually would still be hanging on with some hit points, but I was nice. So they'll go, and by they I mean him, and he raises his flags again. His left flag he raises his red again, and then his right flag he raises his red again, and he points it at Zelvor.
You're the special friend this round.
All right.
So I would like to say, John,
Hi.
I'm going to do this at 4th level because I haven't used any 4th level spells yet.
Okay. That's fine. So there's 2 people casting, and one of them is within the 60-foot radius. No, both of them are
Yep.
actually.
Usually one time I'm going to.
It looks like they're.
No, one of them's just outside, but I'm
Okay.
going to cast it on the one that's within.
Well, perfect. So you will counter his 3rd level spell that he's casting at you. The other one you will not counter. He will shoot it at you. I need a dexterity saving throw from you, please.
Yep.
You get
Dex save, don't fail me now. It actually
Success.
made it. Good.
That's
Nice.
19. He's within 10 of me, so. Wait, aren't you? Or
No,
are
he's
you
20
way
feet up.
high?
I'm
So-
20 feet higher than you.
14 damage for you.
No, 7 damage because it's quartered for me because I.
This is
haven't
lightning.
had it. This is lightning damage. Oh, you're right. This is lightning. Ah,
Right. 2 streaks of lightning arc up from the 2 hobgoblin devastators and slam into the wizard. One kind of just the bard rather. One just catches the edge of like the back end of the wizards or the witches. God, too many types of magic users is what it is. My brain doesn't work. The bard on his flying broom, the back end of the broom gets kind of struck with some lightning, and there's just like pops of static inside of the corn husky whatever hay, I guess it is. I don't know what freaking brooms are made out of. That stuff. This is so descriptive. I'm the best DM. And then the other one kind of catches him in the shoulder just a little bit as he kind of wobbles in space. All right, now it's the other guys who are the red markered ones. Okay. So they're both going to step in on Malik and attack him.
No, you didn't.
All right. So multi-attack. They're all going to go with swords. The first attack is going to be this one. 28 hits, right?
Yep.
Go ahead and make a strength saving throw.
Ooh, this is gonna be +5.
So you're fine.
Nice.
The next attack is another one of those. So I'll give you another strength saving throw.
Are they trying to detain me?
Trying
Am
to
I being
They're
detained?
trying to knock you over. Success. And
Sweet.
the last one will be another shield bash. This one will miss. The other guy will go with his attacks, just normal. He's actually going to loose his shield to the side and use the sword two-handed. Attack, miss, attack, miss, attack, hit.
Yes.
It's 5 damage. Oh, and
All right.
plus 14 because of martial advantage. So total of 19 on that attack.
19?
Mhm.
19 damage. Ooh, that hurts.
They kind of look like they're trying to work in tandem. One's trying to floor you, but you're getting your shield, in, holding yourself tight and low. You've been knocked over a couple of times in the past. You know it's a bad place to be. The other one comes in and hits you in the back a couple of times, just carving into your armor, but you're not terribly wounded by the first couple of strikes. Then one catches you right underneath the bit of your helm, right over your gorget, and you're just kind of annoyed now. A bit of a wound on your back. All right. Hawk.
Well, bonus action, do another potion of healing. Oh, of course, I didn't set the roll.
Oops, it didn't roll.
happens.
That'd be too easy.
Too easy.
Who rolls?
Oh, poopsie
Let's-
daisy.
Let's run down here and smack the guy next to Malik.
He's in between a rock and a hard place.
Hey, yeah.
That will hit because he dropped his shield down. Yeah.
Still
He's going
standing.
two-handed.
Oh yeah, he's still standing. Miss. He kind of like gets caught and then turns the blade to parry, and then
Ooh.
as he kind of winds out, he kind of throws his arm out far, leaving himself open. You slash in at him. It kind of makes him step back, but he doesn't fall.
Wait, he turns it to Perry? Perry the platypus?
No,
That's why we need that platypus.
it was Tyler Perry.
Medea.
Tyler Perry. Medea.
Malik.
Diaz is fighting Medea.
Medea's Dungeons and Dragons. I'm down. I'm down. If that gets me, I'd watch the shit out of that. Malik, the Earth Elemental, go first.
Yeah, I want him to kill this guy right in between everybody. He's just gonna make mush out of him.
Okay.
Say, kill.
He's going to make his 2 attacks.
Finish him.
The first attack he hits with his hand. It kind of looks like it's got him on the ropes. The hobgoblin. He comes in with a second attack, and how he does it is he just leans his head over top of the hobgoblin and just drops his head forward, like a baby. Like their heads are too big. Yeah, it just topples forward on him. The hobgoblin steps aside, and he's just kind of laying in his space. All right, and then Shiro.
I'm up. Then what I do is like we're tag teaming this guy in the middle here.
That hobgoblin looks messed up. Yeah.
I give him the old trident in the back deal. Well, not the back. It's the side.
You go, hey, this is honorable.
How do you like this? I say, look over here so that I don't hit you in the back. I want you to see this. I want you to see your death.
Oh, and
Today is a good day to die.
He sees the crap out of it. And your crit damage is also not right.
My extra yeah, well, it's a crit, right? So
yeah, it's supposed to be max crit damage, so it should be 6, not a 4. So 16 damage.
Well, and then I roll a d8 for the radiant damage. And
no
then,
need.
Okay.
If you see it pop with radiance as he turns and faces you, and you just stab him right through his face, as he gets himself like ready, steeled to fight you, but you're just quicker on the draw. You still have an attack for the other guy, right?
And then I will give an extra one to here. Like I'll make it look like he's not expecting it at all. So I just come like around the back, getting real fancy here.
Nice.
Around the back. Ooh, look at that horrible shot.
You totally try to get behind your back, and you've got the spin going, and he totally sees it coming. And you kind of swing out with the trident edge, and he kind of just bats it aside.
And right. I'm like, man, these guys are tougher than I thought they were.
Boot, there's still 2 mages, and you've got to beat on both of them. They also have guards next to them.
Yeah, I'm going to shoot the mages, though, because it's been working pretty well. And, again, sharpshooter on this guy.
Okay. Take him.
Yeah. Stupid magic users. Magic users are the worst.
What about now? Is he dead now?
So I'm just going to fluff it up. You hit him so hard, it goes through him and hits his guard, and they both just turn to ash.
Nice.
Oh, boy.
2 for
2 for 1.
2 for 1 deals. Blue light special.
And then the next one.
And I think from there I can hit the other mage, right?
Mm-hmm. Roll me another sexy crit.
Major trouble.
Major. 12 will miss.
What about that one?
That'll hit. And that'll kill. He turns to ash. His guardian does not get impaled by the arrow that flies through him.
All right. And also, as my bonus action... Oh, wait. Yeah, I'm going to do this. And I want to look at the tyrant.
Hit
point total.
That's an arcane. That's from the arcane archer class, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Make a wisdom saving throw.
He's protected.
Dang it, which one is that one?
You have the stunned condition, as your eyes just kind of become like this white hot mess of sight. Basically, as you focus in on him and you say the magic words to look at him in the arcane sight, he just becomes this brilliant aura of whiteness that doesn't just stay over there. It just invades your mind, and you're like, ah!
Does he?
So many
How
hit
long
points.
does that last?
Wisdom modifiers?
I'm stunned.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said,
How
he
long
use
does it
the wisdom
last?
Modifiers.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, the penalty to his wisdom? Like, you got sucked onto you? Yeah, he rolled really bad. He's gonna get his.
Okay.
How much did I do to you, just to be fairsies?
2.
Yeah, so you're gonna take a penalty to your wisdom score of 2. There's that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't mention about the arcane sight.
No.
No, you did, because
Sorry.
he divine sensed, and he got the same treatment, but he succeeded on his save.
Oh, that's right. I
Right.
did.
We should
Hey, this
know
guy's-
about this.
This guy's
Dude,
dead.
it's been 2 weeks. We're fucking idiots.
Zelvor, I go before you. The tyrant kind of raises a flag in his left hand. It's a white flag, and he raises it in his right hand. A flag which has no. Well, that's kind of cool. He raises a stick. It has no flag. The hobgoblin drops his sword and kind of lowers his head so that the nape of his neck can be seen, and the guardian moves into the road and lowers his head as well. Looks like they're ready to receive a death blow.
And it's my turn.
Mm-hmm.
What does this guy do?
Yeah, he's lowering his head.
Oh, this guy's dead.
Yeah, he should be gone.
Which one of them looks more bloodied?
Um,
Out of the, or well,
the guy,
I'm
the warrior guy, yeah.
okay. That's right. You can't handle this. Look at us. We're going to kick your ass every single time. Left, right, up, center.
Okay. He looks up at you as you're saying it,
Why not?
and you just see this look of just, and he just starts, as he's looking at you with these saddened eyes, just like terribly saddened, like, really? And he just starts turning to ash from the top of his head as he phases into nothing.
I shamed him to death.
Okay. Hawk.
Yep. So there's just one left.
2.
Two left. So who is this one?
It's the tyrant.
That's.
And then who is this guy in the back?
Right.
The guy in the back is the tyrant.
Yeah, this guy.
And the guy in the front here?
Some dude.
That's just a hobgoblin guardian guy.
Some dude.
He looks like he's ready to receive sweet death.
Is it so? Do we think that we need to get rid of everybody but the tyrant, or we should go for the tyrant first, guys?
I'd kill off everyone first, because I don't know if we actually have to kill the tyrant or not.
Oh crap! And who is the one that has the fireballs?
They're dead.
They're dead.
They're all
Okay.
dead, Dave.
Okay.
Zelbor has the fireballs.
Kill him.
So Hawk's gonna advance here. That's all I could do. I just take my movement.
They're
Okay.
dead, Dave. They're all dead.
Mel.
All right. You advanced. I can move up to 80 feet. So I'm going to measure. What is that? 66? 65? All right. I'm going to accept this guy's surrender. I'm going to move forward to him. Does he have weapons?
Doesn't have any in his hands. He's holding a stick and a flag.
All right. I'm going to say you are under arrest.
He, the Earth Elemental, without your guidance or anything, because you didn't direct him initially, just runs over and smashes this hobgoblin.
Right. All right. Good job, Rocky.
Just sumo slams him to death.
Right.
You're guilty.
Yes, you are guilty. So I'm just gonna make sure like he has no weapons in his hands.
You
no
just
bombs.
rush up to him,
Yeah.
dashing. Okay.
I dash up to him and then kind of like just make sure
Boo.
I'm ready with my. I'm not gonna kill him, but I'm ready with my trident in case he does anything fishy.
Make
good.
Yeah.
make a wisdom saving throw. I don't know.
So anyways, that's good. I've got him, guys. Don't worry. All right, next. That would be Zell, wouldn't it? No, it would be Boo, but Boo's stunned. Oh no.
Yeah, you're stunned for the turn. You'll be fine afterwards. Zell.
I'm
Oh,
just
sorry.
going...
Them. Him. He. Malik runs up on him, and as he's running up, he sees the tyrant or whatever this guy's name is just throw the sticks to the ground. The flag no longer being present on the other stick, and he just sits down. His back banners and his armor just start leaving his body, and he seems to be in just kind of regal-looking robes as he sits there on the ground. It almost looks like the ground has kind of formed a makeshift patterning of stone to seat him, so he has a little bit more authority than just sitting on the ground.
Who are you?
Doesn't seem to respond. We'll go ahead and leave the initiative order because there's really no more fighting, unless you guys want to shoot him or whatever.
Nah,
Resolve
not really.
that.
I don't
might
think
get
so.
on the ground again.
We're gonna resolve that as you please, but yeah, he just sits there.
Come talk to him, Hawk. Come hawk to him.
Yep. Have we passed your test?
Oh, that's what I was going to ask.
Oh, Boo's here. We'll give him some
Test.
sleeping,
There's only one test in life, and the only true remedy for that test, the only true answer.
Math.
You know it, and he's
Math.
as he says that, he says it to Boo, and you know it. There's only one ending. There's only one conclusion.
Oh, and Boo knows it.
I just kind of solemnly nod.
Make a perception check for me there, Boo Boo.
Cool. I think I get where you're going at, but I'm
I
not.
don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Algebra.
You're a killer.
Oh man.
No, you're pretty perceptive. You would have noticed that along the road on the way up here, there were 3 gravestones that you passed by in the heat of everything. But besides that, it seems that the path that you're on has these cairns that look like they're just makeshift gravestones as well with no names. The trees look like they have mounds underneath their, like right set at their trunks. It looks like this place that you just fought on is an old battlefield, but only 3 people that you can see of the buried were good enough for headstones.
Let's check those out.
Yep.
Call dibs on one of the headstones.
All right. I'll keep this guy unless you want to bring him up there with us.
I don't think he's going anywhere.
I don't trust him.
You need to learn to be more trusting. Also, I am going to.
Well, you're gonna what?
Drink
Damn it.
potion.
That stung.
Okay. So the only pathways out, like past to the right, or the east and west of this path that you're on, you can see that there are heavy like tree lines and then like rocky crags. You're kind of set in a valley. It looks like the path continues on to the south, and you could continue walking as you please. But besides that, there's no other points of passageway.
So when we look at the gravestones, what do we see?
Sure. So you go over to them and do you read them?
Please.
They're in Elvish, so you should be able to read them.
Yep, absolutely.
There are 3 names. There's no, what is it when you write something on a headstone? My brain's not working.
Eulogy? No.
Effigy,
No,
I think
no.
it is.
Effigy?
Yeah.
Yeah, effigy.
There's none of that nonsense. It's just 3 names.
Enemy.
Name number 1 in the middle is Ryan.
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 Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, it's a month.
Name number 2, which is to the north of that name, is Barum. And name number 3, the southernmost one, is Breathian.
Are those all months? They sound like it.
Well,
All right, cool. Those are months, right? All of them?
Are you asking me? I'm not going to
Yeah.
answer. You
You're
guys
not
can
gonna
answer. You guys can
I
answer.
think they are, aren't they? I know Rian is for sure. Barum. pretty sure. I'm pretty sure those are all months in this world. I mean, my character would know.
Yeah, so Barum is mid-green, second month of spring. Breathian is first heat, first month of summer. And hold on, crud. Ryan
Purple
is...
Ryan.
Means and third month of spring for
Thank you.
the
It's in
tyrant.
the calendar handout.
Is there a calendar handout?
Yeah, it's
Under lore.
Oh, sweet. All right, cool.
so they also translate to zodiac signs because months.
Right. The judge, the tyrant, and
So again, that was Barum on the northernmost gravestone, Ryan for the central gravestone, and Breathian for the southernmost gravestone.
Okay, so let's translate this. So which one is Ryan in terms of the zodiac sign? That's
Ryan
the
is
tyrant.
Ryan is a
So that's
tyrant.
where we are now.
In the middle. There's a path to the right, which is the judge, Barum, and then there's the bottom one, which is the worm or Breathian.
Malik, as you're kind of sitting and that sounds good. Malik, as you're kind of sitting and standing and looking over this hobgoblin tyrant and kind of looking him over for his armor, like you said you were doing, you also notice something very strange about his features. He looks like a hobgoblin, but it looks like he might be like a hybrid, maybe like half something. And his features just in the face seem very familiar to you. And you kind of focus in on it a bit more, and you realize he looks a lot like Hawk.
Oh no.
Oh no. And I say,
I know I'm ugly, but what?
I'm gonna say, what are you? Will he answer me?
Kind of just looks at the ground. It looks like he is a bit of a saddened mess, having lost this combat.
Yeah. I'm wondering if I should tell Hawk.
And unlike your favorite wraith, he doesn't seem like he's a conversationalist.
Right.
Like that.
I am going to call Zelbar over when he's done looking at the headstones and tell him. I'm going to say, hey, take a look at this, Zel. This guy looks, hey, I'm going to say it without Hawk hearing me. I'm going to whisper it to Zel. This guy looks a little bit like Hawk, doesn't he? Maybe he's some type of we're in a different dimension. Maybe, I don't know. This other dimension stuff really racks my brain,
do you want to try looking at him in the mirror?
Oh, yes, let's do it. That's why I told you, because I knew you'd think it's so cool.
I hand him the mirror, knowing that his wisdom save is better than mine.
Before you hand it to him, you notice something very strange about it, and it immediately kind of sets you kind of like aback. The face of the mirror is jet black. It has a shine and polish like obsidian, but it casts no reflection on its surface.
Isn't Hawk of House Ryan?
Hawk has a descendant who you recall being a Vazriel king. You remember being told that by the Vazriel dead that you found in underneath Hilton.
Right,
and
a
you're also-
servant. Servant house.
Yeah, you were also told about it by the fish dudes, if I recall correctly. Yeah.
We prefer fish people.
Hobgoblin, not so much. Like, that's not something you recall.
Also, as I'm handing the mirror to Malik, because I'm still going to do that, I call Hawk over and ask him, "Hey, Hawk, does this guy remind you of anyone?"
Hawk will examine him and say, "Do I know you?"
He kind of looks up at you, looks back down to the ground. He gives you a glance. So far, he hasn't responded to anything else, but he doesn't say anything in response. Mel, as you see Hawk coming over, you look over in his direction to see that he's coming over. You also notice that Rocky is still just standing there waiting for commands.
Right, I'm going to tell him to guard us.
Yeah, and you're pretty sure at the end of the exchange, you guys have been kind of sitting here talking and exploring stuff for well more time than you think he should be around. Because isn't it a 10-minute duration?
Hour.
Oh, okay. There hasn't been that yet. Let me know when it gets to that, or I'll let you know when it gets to that. But the point of the matter is he'll still be standing around.
Maybe you could take him with us for a while.
Yeah, I hope so. You know what?
Wait,
I'm
he's still
going to
going to
go
be
up.
standing around after.
Probably. We'll see.
I'm gonna go up and look to see what happened to my bowl of commanding water elementals. Did it get totally crushed?
Oh, it's broken into shards, yeah.
I could salvage this.
Sure. You pick up the shards and put it in your
I
pocket.
put it in my backpack. I think
Fine.
I'm crying a little bit.
Yeah,
Hey guys, you want to do a short rest here? Want to do a short rest here, or we got to figure out what we're gonna do with this guy yet first? Actually, we can't.
We
pass
can-
him around.
I mean, I really do need a short rest. Like,
Oh,
So
Yeah,
bad.
I'm kind of mostly dead.
Yeah, just put him in the grave.
well, I hate to say it, but he kind of said himself that he needs to die. I don't want to do it though. I don't think that's honorable
didn't-
for me to kill somebody who surrendered.
Just to backtrack a bit, like I was just making a joke because there's graves all over the place, but I mean, take it how you will.
Yeah, we noticed. You have a grave sense of humor.
So he didn't say he needs to go in the grave. He said that there's only one answer. Did we pass your test was the question. His response was there's only one answer to life is the test. There's only one answer to that equation. There's only one solution. And you know
I
it.
still
And he
say
said that
algebra.
to the murderer guy.
And so, what Boo? What do you think the solution is? Death or
You're muted.
Personally, I kind of am tempted to dig up one of the graves and jump in it.
Don't be so quick to pass your life up or something.
I'm not thinking that's the case.
All right.
Just,
It might do something. Who knows?
thank you?
I don't really want to look at this guy with the mirror, so I'm not going to do that.
It doesn't help anyways. When you're handed the mirror, the facade of it is completely jet black like obsidian, and it seems to have no reflection, no matter what
So
you
I
turn it
wouldn't-
on.
oh, okay. Yeah. I think we should detain this guy, but if you guys think you should kill him, that's going to be on you.
No, I don't think we should kill him at all.
I just
Alright.
think we leave him here.
We could leave him there, sure.
His punishment will be knowing he's been defeated.
I'm worried that if we come back to this room, it'll be repopulated again.
A couple of notes real quick, just to make sure we all understand where we're at. There is a path to the south that could lead out of here. There's a path to the north, which you came in, and you assume will lead back to the center, based on how every room so far has worked. There are a bunch of gravestones, most of them unmarked. There are three burial sites that are marked, and those burial sites have names on their headstones.
there's some part of me wants to dig up the worm's grave site just to see.
Yeah,
if-
I'm
and
kind
being
of tempted
knowledgeable in
to-
Arcana, you would know that the Earth Elemental would serve in that purpose very, very usefully,
Yes.
in that he could do it with no effort whatsoever.
That's like what I'm thinking. Like the thing was that we saw the worm already, and he was basically just gonna kill us. Like, I wonder if there's something in his fucking grave we need to dig up right here. Like, that's the point of the whole fucking Zodiac thing and putting.
Do it.
Yeah, let's do it. So I tell
It
my
seems- I mean, I could be wrong and drawing connections where there are none. Because again, pot. But
The truth.
I think that we should dig up one of the graves.
this is what my brain does all the time, every day, and like I don't know if anyone else follows along with me or if I'm like going off on weird tangents.
Could work. We'll see how it goes. But just to make sure,
I see
Can't
hole and
Yep, we'll try the worm first.
Breathian's the one that you want to open first. Okay, so just so I understand it, you're wanting to dig down into it to find the coffin. If there is one.
or
Yes.
whatever is under there. If
Sure.
it's a skull, if it's whatever, fucking a
And-
dagger.
Mel, do you tell him to do it?
I say, guys, I hate doing this, but I think this is all a game. So I think I can justify it in my head, digging up some graves. I think there's something important in there. I agree with you guys about this whole worm thing. So I
How could the
tell
worm be
my
dead?
dude,
It's like
I say, Rocky, go there and dig up the worm grave, would that be the top one or the bottom one?
Breathian, the southern one.
Oh, it'd be this one then. I say, please dig
He
up this grave.
Drops his head into the dirt, and you can see him just start to sink into the earth, which isn't a thing that normally happens. It seems like the earth seems to be warping around him to its will, and eventually he kind of just pulls his head up like backwards, like flicking his hair, and a bunch of dirt goes flying over him. Three more of the yeah, like that. Three more of these functions, like these, just put in, get up and shake. You can see that he's unearthed a sarcophagus, or not sarcophagus, more of just a coffin, really. It looks like it's quite large, larger than a person, probably about 10 feet by 7 feet, or no, 10 feet by 5 feet. It looks more like a door in the ground than a coffin lid.
Oh,
Hold
it's
on.
a passage. You're so smart, Boo.
Thank you.
Do you open it?
It's like
I thought we were going to take a short rest because someone.
Yeah,
Go ahead
take a
and-
short rest.
Go ahead and assume that's the case, and also you spend an hour doing so. Rocky does not disappear.
Oh, Rocky. You know what? I really generally like water better, but for a rock person, you're not half bad.
He
How,
kind of just turns to you, and you're talking to a rock.
Yeah, I'm talking to a rock.
All right.
He's my best buddy now, you know?
Not
how
even-
many hit dice can we spend?
however many you have left, and you're not even
Half.
speaking Rockanese, so
Yeah, I speak Rockanese.
rockish.
All right, guys. I guess we could spend. I think isn't it usually you can spend up to half?
You can spend as many as you want.
No, you
Oh.
regain up to half. Round
You
it
take a
down,
long
you
rest.
regain long rest.
Holy shit, that's a lot of hit points right there.
Make sure you note the ones that you spent.
Now I'm down to half.
Okay. And
Why is it not
do you
working?
open up the coffin?
I don't really want to open the coffin. Do you guys want to open it? I know we have to, but I don't want to be the one to open it.
Zelvor goes over and opens the coffin.
You go down into the hole and open up the coffin lid, and down beneath it, you realize that it is just a series of steps that lead into the earth.
It seems to be a series of steps that lead down into the earth.
Hmm.
I say that we go down them. Hawk, you first.
I love it.
Real quick,
Absolutely.
before we get to that, is there anything else in this place that you want to do before you move on?
Let's do a little bit quick check in the other
graves, maybe?
Yeah, why not?
We could,
Yeah.
Maybe like a magic sword we can get
Or
rid
have
of.
Rocky unearth the other
Yeah.
graves.
We'll just have him do
Okay.
that. Just
Which one would you like to open up next?
we'll
Let's
do.
do the middle. Let's just go bottom to top.
Okay.
All right.
If you open up the middle one, as you crush down, you get to another coffin.
So this is Ryan as the central one.
hmm
Okay.
You open it, and inside is the dead body of the hobgoblin that's over on the other side of the place. In his hands, like on his person, he is holding a sword. Sword looks like it's fine elvish make.
Fine elvish make.
Perfect.
Okay, grab
Is
that.
it glowing at all?
Does
It
it
is.
seem okay, hold on a second. I want to grab that and I will burn a first level spell to.
Identify.
And we need to go back to the warrior.
Okay. If you're identifying it, you would realize that this is a +3 longsword.
Holy shit.
Holy shit! We can't get rid of this.
That's why we identify things, lads.
But that's all it is,
Yes.
just a +3 longsword.
+3 longsword though. That's a lot of pluses.
Mhm.
That can actually use one of these once it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I could use
the armor and attire that he's wearing looks like it's in less repair than the form that you see over on the far side of the battlefield. And the sword, it's the exact same sword that he's carrying on his person and standing over there. It appears like an exact duplicate, except that there's a desiccated husk of a hobgoblin corpse that looks like it's kind of like mummy rotted and kind of like, just completely dry, bone dry within, versus the one that looks healthy over there with the flags.
So wait, the one with the healthy one also has the same sword?
Yeah.
Let's take the sword from him.
Whoa, well, okay, yeah.
The sword
take
becomes
both of them.
animated and cuts your head off.
Yeah, it makes sense. We don't want to leave him with the sword. He was defeated, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
Hawk, you gonna go over there and try and pummel that sword off of him?
Yeah, you go for that, Hawk. You go.
You don't think he's gonna do
I
it?
still want to see what's in the top grave.
Let's open the top grave first, then we'll see what
Okay.
we do.
Rocky gets to work throwing his construction cap on and pulls out just earth and earth and earth keeps on pulling out earth, and there doesn't appear to be anything that he gets down to. He goes down a good 30 feet, and then he comes back up with just this. He just drops his arms on the ground.
Okay, hold on a second. That one was Buram, correct?
Yeah.
Hawk, use the gavel just that the judge gave you.
On what?
On the gravestone, on the dirt down there. I don't know. Just I'm thinking. You said
Sure.
it might come in handy later.
I will hit the gravestone with the gavel.
Nothing happens.
Okay, might as well try though.
Who's worth a shot?
Good effort. Yeah.
Hawk is going to go to the tyrant and say, "Do you submit?"
He doesn't respond.
I think he already has. That's what the white flag was.
Well,
Just a thought.
mm-hmm.
Do we want to check these things, guys? Under them, real quick. We got the excavation crew here. I don't know if there's anything under them.
Rocks.
Well, he said they're like mass burials, right? I don't know. We might pull up all sorts of shit under those.
Well, I still wonder what's through the worm door.
I think we're gonna have to give up the +3 sword, guys.
Damn.
We'll see. There's more rooms.
Yeah, you're right. There's more rooms.
There's more rooms.
You
Let's
come
keep going.
across a +1 dagger. Let's get rid of this one.
Yes, exactly. That's what we want to get rid of. All right. All right, guys. Do you want to head out then?
So we still have the Saint, the Manticore, and the Huntress.
Yeah, there are 3 exits from this place now. There is the south exit, which you assume will lead to the room that you came from, as most of the time the easiest option leads back where you came. The northern exit, which will lead back to the center room, which is what normally happens when you leave out the way you came in. And then last but not least, the passage underneath the burial site, which will lead somewhere. You're not sure where, but I'm pretty sure everyone has an educated guess.
Yeah, let's go there. Let's
I
go
think
down
that's
the
the one that's hard to find.
Yep. All right. What are we going to do with Rocky? He's not going to be able to come with us. He's too big. We'll have to wait up here.
Rocky!
Zelborg goes, or Rocky goes with you.
You can go with us? You can fit down the stairs? I thought it was small.
Yeah, he's not really imposed by Earth as he has a burrow speed, and he can move through Earth without changing the nature of what he's moving through.
Oh, sweet. All right, so we'll go down there. Let's go, guys. Let's do this. All right?
Yep.
All right.
All right, you descend down, and then it goes to a straightaway hall.
John,
Oh, good.
you just went dead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Now, yes.
So you go down, and then it leads to kind of a straight hallway. All along the sides of this hallway are just skulls lined from floor to ceiling. As you continue on in, the skulls start to become more like stone, but still skull-shaped, and then they become like boulders just set up top of one another, and then they become like just pieces of just rock that kind of lead out to a pass. Bear with me here.
The boulder.
You come to see, and I'm going to put Rocky right here for now, that it comes out and there are trees on either side, and it looks like a snow-covered hilltop or mountain directly in front of you. I'm going to go ahead and pull you to the map. On top of which you see, as you saw before come to land there, but it's remained its perch, is a dragon that appears to be made out of just blue magical energy. As you step out into the open, its eyes snap down the mountain, and it says, "You shall not pass."
That's what you said before.
And that's what I will say for eternity.
But we're stronger, better, no, wait a second. Harder, better, faster, stronger now. There we go.
So you wish to face me? And as he does so and breathes a little bit, you can see that his breath is colored prismatically. It appears that there are 5 different colors kind of emanating out of his mouth.
I think this guy might be kind of a badass. You go first, Hawk.
Good plan.
Rocky looks at Hawk, but like he's not looking at you because he's just a rock, and he just lifts up his thumb, like this thumb appears on his hand.
Wait a minute.
Ash, very dangerous. You go first, Indy.
We are the cursed of Tovash.
Did you not
Tovash
hear me, blue skin? I
We
said,
have
turn back.
we have the right to come up here. You have no right to deny us.
Turn back or die. Last warning. And as he says that, you can see his claws dig into the snow and earth, and it seems like they cut through it like razors through bread.
Oh God.
You guys want to do this?
Yeah, dude, I say we
No.
call John's bluff. Let's do it. Will he TPK us? Move forward.
Yeah, who has that sword? Who has that long +3 long sword?
Well, John
That's not gonna
TPK us.
happen.
Let's do it.
Hug takes out the gavel. I have the gavel though.
I'll be completely
You're
honest.
I'm gonna wave the gavel around.
It's been a while since I've TPK'd a group, especially this invested. Like I've done it once in my life. Like I did kill a group of higher level party, but yeah,
I don't know if this is the right way, guys.
it's
we should
been a while.
wait.
Do you?
John, my
I think we
thing
should
still
wait.
holds what I messaged you,
Okay.
right?
Oh yeah, no, I know.
Okay,
fine.
good.
Oh, you're gonna dimension door out of here?
I mean something
no,
like
I'm
that.
doing something else.
We
Well,
can wait.
okay.
We can wait if you want, Hawk. If you're not feeling it, you're the.
I'm not feeling this one. I think
Okay.
we should exhaust our options first.
All
All
right.
right.
Is anybody still kind of giving like that intentional kind of like forward posturing, or are you all kind of on your backs of your feet moving back?
Well, Zach seemed like he was, but I don't see him now.
Zach, were you doing with the group?
Yeah, I was doing the same thing as everyone else. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. I just have an action held with him, so I just wanted to make sure no one was triggering it. Okay, you guys start backing down the pass in.
He's gonna fuck us up.
I guess we'll come back later.
It's like, am I really gonna fuck them up?
Sure. You guys make it back to the main chamber, and Rocky's along with you.
Yeah, I know Rocky was like, you know,
So
itching for
where
a fight.
is this? What was the name of that place we were just at? Which zodiac
That
sign?
was
The worm.
That was the worm.
The worm. Okay, so the worm is the dragon. Okay.
Hey, wait a minute! Didn't we find that sword in the worm?
Yeah.
In the worm.
No, we found the sword in Ryan's.
Oh,
Yeah.
Great.
okay. You're
'Cause
right.
he has
You're
the
right.
same one on his belt. We just found the door in the worm.
Door, and that's why it was.
Door.
Worm. Okay, that
Well,
makes
all we
sense.
had to do was open the secret door, and we know the secret door just takes us to the same place as the entrance, the worm, so we can pick a new point to go through.
So we
right?
still haven't done the saint, the manticore, or the huntress.
And
Let's
we
do-
have to go back and do the soldier someday when we can give him a magic weapon.
And a real quick note: the Saint door is
Covered by rubble.
right, but it looks like it's aggressible, I believe. The Manticore door was the weird one. If you go up to that pass there, there's a statue head coming out of the wall of a lion's head. On closer inspection, you note that it's a winged lion with a scorpion's tail. But you guys were shoving stuff into its mouth, and it appeared to be just like a coin star without any sound, or cool tickets for you to take up to the cashier.
Right, it's a Roman holiday statue.
Right.
Coin stars. That's a poor person joke. Yeah.
We've all used them, man.
Oh my god, I just love the little. I love the little. You just slide them in there, and it's got the little. Anyways, so
Yeah, dude.
Things
Or
and
people
things.
have to roll their own quarters. We can't afford that charge.
They banks don't even give you that anymore, man.
Yeah. Anywho, that said, the Saint door. It looks like it should be fine. I mean, I don't think there's anything weird about that. Let me double check my notes.
The Saint door
So
basically
the
said,
saint one is this one.
all ye who
Yeah.
enter lose hope. Or what's that?
Looks like it's another like entry passageway, like the judge was, but it looks like you can actually see a door on the inside of there.
And then the huntress is up to the north and the east, and that was the wind and the snow.
Lots of cold, lots of snow. Yeah.
above the Saint's door. Abandon hope, all ye who enter.
That's
So
not what it said.
Do you want to try? Is that really what it says?
No, I don't think
Matt?
so.
That's just me quoting Dante.
Well, then let's. Okay, sure.
I want to go into the Saint door because I'm thinking we might not get our ass kicked in there.
Yeah, let's give it a go.
Okay. All right, Saint it is. Let me go ahead and just walk you along there. Hold on a second. Let me make sure Rocky's with you.
And I think
Yeah.
we should do the Huntress next.
Yep, I agree.
Wonder if the Huntress looks like a Funi. Probably not.
All right. You guys make your way into the Saint's door, and it's a long hallway, and after a fashion, the long hallway breaks open, and just seems like the walls kind of just are broken apart, and you're kind of walking out of what appears to be like an old, just rubble, or ruin rather. Up ahead, you can see that there's a series of steps that lead up to a very large temple, or monastery that's kind of set inside of the ruins. Directly before you, as you exit out of the rubble passage in the ruin that you're exiting out of, you can see that there are two massive double doors, 15 feet wide for each door, and some 25 feet high. Emblazoned on the two doors is the half of the same image, that image being a man kind of standing with his hand up in the air with a rod kind of cast up towards the heavens, and kind of just a knightly bearing, a very holy looking image with a halo above his head. To you, Hawk, it's very similar to a lot of the imagery that you would have seen in temples of Averiu, the saint of, yeah.
And it reminds you of Zelvor.
And it reminds you of Zelda.
Oh, I'm sure. Hawk would want to call Malikan and to help him with this.
John, what was that about a two-door?
Double door, you can see it there now. At the bottom.
There's a two-door. Is there a York also?
Yeah, sure.
That's right. War of the Roses joke.
Can I tell if this is like has any religious significance?
You can make it a religion check, yeah.
Let's see, where is that? All right. Oh, look at
Yeah.
that, guys.
So it would definitely make religious significance to you in that the typical image that you're seeing here would actually not have a rod. It would be wielding a spear. And this is the image of a Averiu. But it appears that someone else has been put in his... Basically, the best kind of real-world equivalent I can give you is imagine seeing a crucifix, like a true Catholic crucifix with the whole sculpture of Christ upon it, but someone puts someone else on the cross instead. So it kind of looks like it's an affront to that, or it could be just maybe a similar story, because that's not really your religion anyways.
Right.
So you're not sure what the significance behind it is, except that you know that it's wrong.
Yeah, I'm gonna explain all that to everybody because it could be some sort of a thing that we have to pick up on. But I
Does it?
No sense.
Yeah. Hawk would ask Malik if it has an unholy kind of a feeling to it.
Oh no! It just seems like parody.
Does it look anything at all like any of us? Like,
No.
Is there a slight resemblance to Hawk or anything?
No.
No. Okay. All right, guys. I don't know what it's weird, but
Are there any other markings on the door or beside it?
No. The temple again looks very Avarian. Like it looks like it's of the variety. Like the temple in Hilton that was built up for Lord Haverhill. You recall that one, the really nice new one. It's the same kind of styling. It's really just orthodox. It's really very Avarian. The only thing that's weird is that instead of having, Averiu, the saint, emblazoned on the door, you have someone else, an old gentleman with a rod instead of a spear.
does he look like Cardiff?
No. Good call, though.
We know Cardiff. He could be there. You never know.
That would have
All
been
right.
brilliant.
let's just go through then, guys. We could have Rocky open it, but
Yeah, Rocky would have no problem pushing the door open. Yeah.
let's
Let's
have
do
Rocky
that.
open it, guys. All right, so we stand where we are, and
He
Rocky
sets off the
moves
trap.
forward.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, sets off the trap and
Rocky pushes the door open and steps in through and kind of look. He doesn't really look, but he kind of turns his head towards you guys and kind of gestures with his big club hand for you to follow.
Yep, let's jump in there, guys.
All right, there's a set of 3 doors up ahead of you now. The 3 doors each have a figure emblazoned upon them. The one in the center is the same symbol that you saw outside, just smaller, as these doors are only about 10 feet high. The one on the left is a dragon, and the one on the right is a soldier with a bunch of weapons on his person.
Okay, I think
So
these
the worm
doors,
and the soldier?
yeah, I think these are other ways to go into those spots. Like
Mhm.
these are other entrances to the worm and the soldier. Let's go straight then, and we'll continue on with the saint. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, let's do that then. Well, Rocky, could you open that door, please?
He nods and goes towards those doors and opens them up. And inside, you can see that there's a temple. Standing out on the dais of the temple is a strange creature that has the head of a person, regal and noble and familiar from the 2 visages that you saw, older and bearded. But his body appears to be that of a lion with wings, angel-like wings.
Guys, I think it's a cave troll.
It is a cave troll. There are a total of 7 pillars on either side of the chamber. The chamber appears to be kind of ornately designed, very similar to the Varian pattern with the diamond shape. And then up on the dais, you can see that there's this kind of bluish ichor all splayed about. You don't know what that is, and the stone is cracked all throughout. Even in the antechamber that you just exited out of, it appeared that there was damage like this. But there appears to be a podium directly behind this creature, and it appears to be just a typical altar of the temples of Bavaria. Very, very familiar to Hawk from his days in the military for Parnak.
All right. Hey, Hawk, let me handle this.
Go for it.
I'm going to step forward into the temple and say, Hail, wise one. you come in
Who
peace?
are you?
I am merely a traveler. I come with a band of friends, and we are in search of the Sword of Sorcery.
Do you bring tithe?
No,
Oh.
we're in search of the penultimate thingy.
Say what tithe? What tithe?
Yeah, tithe. Like, this is a religious, temple.
No, what kind of a tithe though?
Yeah.
Do you
What
bring
tithe
any
do you
tithe?
ask?
I ask for no tithe. And as you realize, like, as you're talking to him, he does have a bit of a goofy accent. I'm trying to do the voice acting thing seem cool, like all those cool kids on the cool shows. But you also notice that as he's talking to you, Hawk, you're hearing him in Elvish. Malik, as he's talking to you, you hear him in your native tongue. Same. You can assume, Zelpor, that he has the spell tongues cast upon himself.
So it sounds like he's talking underwater. It's like,
It does sound like he has a primordial accent for Aquan, yeah. But he, a tithe. You do not tell someone what they should tithe. They give what their heart would give.
I'm going to pull out. I'm going to wait.
I will tithe. I have money. I will tithe. I don't have a lot of it, but oh my gosh, I have a pathetic amount of gold.
You know what I do tithe, actually?
What? Which is fine.
I'm not sure whether I should or not use this. Although I don't think I'm going to use any of those spells. So I'm going to tithe.
The blue spell book. All right. If you don't need that,
Yeah.
that's very rich.
Knowledge and lore of the arcane. A storyteller like you gives wisdom and knowledge and power. Indeed,
What else is there?
an interesting gift.
What are you going to give to Mrs. Doubtfire?
He kind of turns his head back towards the
Oh dear.
he turns his head back to the altar, and he says, "Does this suffice?" And you hear this, "It will do," just from nowhere. You're like, and he reaches his paw out towards you to accept it.
Oh,
Sure.
Nice.
good job, Zell.
Give me them monies. My name's Nolan. I want them. Give me them cash.
You
Anyways,
got to move up there. You got to move up there and give it to her.
Well, yeah, I'm going to
Or-
give it to the Sphinx.
Are we all moving up?
do you, boo?
I was waiting for someone else to take a step forward, man.
Man,
I'm not.
I wish we were like E famous. That would be a shirt right there.
Oh yeah.
Do you, BOH? Oh my gosh. Maybe one day. Never. I don't care. It's not about that. Anywho,
But yeah,
you hand him the book. He places the book onto the altar and then turns back to look at you all.
Oh boy. I will
I'm
move up.
going to just take a reverent step back, so I'm like not
Yeah,
right in his
yeah,
face.
that's fine.
I will move up, and I have. I do not have much money, but I will give you my remaining coins, and I will give you something very, very dear to me. I have to say, this used to be a very powerful item, and it
You
recently
can't
broke.
give me away, Malik.
No, but it recently broke, so I'm just gonna give it. I take out the kind of crushed bowl of commanding water elementals, and I say, I believe in my heart that this can be fixed and will be even more powerful than it once was. So I give him that, and then you're gonna laugh when I tell you how much coin a level 13 character has. I have 51.55 gold total. So it's basically 5 copper, 5 silver, 11 gold, and 4 platinum pieces. I'm in a clean house here.
He
Didn't you spend it all on the bowl?
takes that into his
No.
hand and the shards of the bowl. He turns back towards the altar and he says, "Will this do?" And you hear, "Repair it, and it will do." The Sphinx goes, "Ooh," and sets the currency onto the altar. Then he places the shards down on the ground, closes his wings down over the shards, and you hear just this muttering from him. You actually would be able to hear it in your native tongue, even though he's speaking it in his own language, Sphinx, but he's speaking in tongues. So you would hear him go, "Bippity boppity, bippity boppity boo," and he opens up his wings, and the bowl has been fixed. He places it onto the altar. Malik's like, "No, that's mine." I was just kidding. Psych.
I'm like, oh man, I knew I should have kept it. It was so awesome.
I was just teasing. You can give that back now.
Yeah,
It sufficed though, so good job.
yeah, that worked.
All right. The Sphinx is now kind of ignoring you two and looking towards Boo and Hawk.
Oh God.
Steps
Wow.
aside, Malik, so that they can.
My gift may not have the same monetary value. It does have a story behind it, as we did slay the creature that once held these. And I'll present like the 2 dragon horns and all of the dragon scales that I have.
Nice.
He takes them into his palm, and he kind of turns back and looks at the altar, and he says, "Will this do?" And you kind of just hear silence for a moment. "It will do." And the Sphinx kind of goes, "Oh," and sets the stuff onto the dragon hearts onto.
I don't know what to give. I have no idea. I don't
Altar.
have very much stuff.
Give your sword.
Yeah, right.
You actually hear a voice in your head go, "Don't listen to the fiend." Don't.
Anything
Don't
you
ever
have on your
listen to him.
character sheet. Check your character sheet. What do you got on there?
I have this pocket lint that I have specially picked for you, sir. And the noblest of missing buttons.
Yes.
Beside, like,
Hawk, if you want, you can give him my bagpipe.
No. Go ahead. What are you saying, John?
gift-wise, like, I mean, what items do you... I don't remember Hawk really picking up trophies or anything. Like,
I really don't.
he's not much of a
So,
collector. Besides
I have a
the gavel you took, like, besides that, I don't remember you ever being the guy who picks up things.
Right. I have a backpack of holding.
Oh, that's
I
it.
can give a sentimental item.
I mean, do you?
Yeah. What sort of sentimental things you have?
So he would take off the backpack of holding, and it's filled with all kinds of stuff, I guess. I don't know, from whatever we've collected along the way. And then he would reach into his armor and pull out a chain with a ring and say, this ring belonged to my brother. And he would put it on top of the backpack.
Ooh. See, that has a lot of value to it.
He kinda-
Sentimental value.
He kind of looks at you, and he picks up the ring and the chain and kind of just brushes the backpack aside. And he turns back and he looks to the altar and he says, "Will this do?" And immediately you hear, "It will suffice." And the Sphinx sets the ring without the bag onto the altar. And now the Sphinx is just staring at Rocky.
Uh-oh.
Shit. Rocky's gonna leave.
Rocky
Right,
kind
he's
of
going to give himself.
he looks at he kind of turns his attention to Malik and he does.
Yeah.
Have him pull off his arm.
No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna ask him to do that. I'm gonna ask.
It's
I'm gonna
Rock.
say, Rocky, you should step out. You are not fit to enter this temple, and so he can wait for me in the antechamber or whatever, in here, right? That's what I'm thinking. He has to leave the temple.
He shrugs.
You can tell him to return to the main chamber.
Yeah, I tell him to return to the main chamber. Will he be able to do that?
He turns
Alright.
and he walks out, and you assume he gets to where he's supposed to go.
Man, that guy needs a lot more water and a lot less rock. But other than that, he's pretty swell.
The
Yeah,
Sphinx
he
says,
seems like,
"You've given your tithes. You may enter into the inner cloister if you so desire." And you hear a hold,
oh.
and kind of just manifesting behind the altar,
Rock.
you see a form appear, and it appears to be, for all intents and purposes, the form of the saint, except that it's an old man, and instead of holding a spear, he's holding a rod or scepter, and he kind of leans in over the altar and looks down at you. "I am Kasan."
Hassan?
Kesan, Kasan.
Oh.
You
Alright.
have given gifts that have meaning. You have given gifts that have heart. Gifts that have purpose. And I understand that you are trying to remove a gift you were given through birthright, not of your own volition, not a gift that you would ever accept. Is that so?
That is
Okay.
correct.
We carry a curse.
He looks to the Sphinx, who's now looking at him, and he looks to you again, and he says, "But then, your parents before you were given the same charge, and they did nothing to right the wrong. And their parents before them were given the same charge, and they did nothing to right the wrong. Why does this fall upon you? Why have you risen to this? What is different about you than your ancestors?"
Circumstance and timing.
Because it is easy to do nothing, but it is hard to put yourself forward and do something spectacular like we are trying to do. And we do not know why our ancestors did not do it, but maybe, like my friend Boo here says, maybe it was just timing, and we just happened to be right for us to try to right this wrong. So,
You assume that you're going into it rightly. What if you are fooling yourselves?
yes, we have thought of that. We could be marching into our doom, but we can't think of anything better to do. We cannot live with our current situation. Boo starts to laugh.
Oh.
He's like, "Oh my God, what did I get myself?"
Personally, for me, it was all the Sunday afternoons. I just too many bad, just couldn't do anything else anymore, and just
You can only
figured,
go
well,
with
might as
weird
well get off this old ancestral curse.
Yeah. It's like
So, you mean to say that you're just doing it because it is the way that it's gone? This is the path that's unfolded before you.
I'm
No,
a bard. I sing.
I think we were destined to do it. That we may have been making choices that have led us to this point, and I think now is the time for us to break this curse on our family. And I'm gonna die trying, if nothing else. Everybody else is like, hell, we didn't sign up for that.
You
I
committed us
just
to a
sing
whole
things.
lot.
That's what I do.
Well,
Oh, go ahead.
an interesting note. I would suggest that you understand what it means to be cursed. Some of you know directly what that means. Looking to Hawk, and then to Malik, and then to Zelbor. But others, and it kind of just looks directly at Boo, have not seen it manifest as yet, and do not know what that could potentially bring. Does the fear of the unknown stop you? Does the fear of understanding stop you?
No, it does not.
I think he was asking the one without the
Boo.
stone.
Oh, go ahead, Boo. That's you. A little shoulder nudge.
Stop me. What?
So then, bring back your friend. I will allow him access as well, but only if you can answer my page's riddle. Sigh. You saw a sphinx and you didn't. I mean, you should have
Yeah,
known.
I thought
I
there's
knew
definitely.
it was coming. Okay, is the answer man?
No.
All right.
I just want to make sure it wasn't the Greek Sphinx riddle.
What's the riddle?
The sphinx goes, "Oh, you
Yeah,
wish to know it?"
Yes.
The sphinx reaches back to the altar and grabs the bowl and brings it down in front of you guys and sets it out onto the ground.
Now he's teasing me. Oh,
You
damn it!
want that bowl back?
I
Don't
want
grab.
that-
Don't
I
you
want-
grab it? Don't
I
you
want
grab
it
it?
so bad, but I'm not gonna grab it.
Hold on a second. Sorry, let me check my notes real quick. Bear with me.
What walks on 4 legs in the morning?
There you go.
That's the Greek Sphinx's riddle. I doubt it.
This is a gyno sphinx, which I don't know.
What?
Explain that to me. Isn't that what they call them?
What a
I know
manticore?
the female Sphinx I saw.
So,
And a sphinx that specifically looks at vaginas.
there is
The doctor sphinx.
something that I seek more than anything that you have given to the saint. Something I must have. Something that I need you to place into this bowl. It is weightless. It can be seen by the naked eye. And if you were to put it into this bowl, he says as the bowl starts to fill up with water, it would make the bowl lighter. What is it that I seek?
I'm just going to lean over to Hawk and I'm putting my money on nothing, but I'm not entirely sure.
I'm gonna whisper too. We can whisper between ourselves, right?
You can talk loudly amongst yourself. It's not like he's going to be like, table talk, no.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, well, I'm thinking it's you place something in there to displace the water, have some of it spill out of the bowl, and then you end up with it being lighter, like maybe like a hollow metal sphere.
No, that's
So it's weightless. It cannot be seen.
It can be
Cannot-
seen.
It can be seen.
It can be seen
Yeah.
by the naked eye.
But the weightless part, yeah, that's
you
right.
can
It's,
see. I see nothing. It's weightless, and if you put it in the bowl will be lighter because in there.
well, yeah, that could be.
That's
Sounds right.
that's what my money's for. But I think we
What do you
can
think?
discuss it.
Zach,
What do
I
you
think.
I don't know, man. If it were me, I would have flipped the bowl on him just because he filled it with water. Because I'm an asshole. But like,
Answers run.
Yeah,
Oh my god, there's 2 cats. There's
he's getting
2.
killed by
There's
cats.
so many cats.
oh man, if I was in Tabaxi right
Cat
now,
attack. So how would nothing make the bowl lighter, Matt?
Because if
Then
there's
there'd be
nothing
less
in the
water.
bowl, it's
right
lighter.
now it's full of water.
But the bowl is filled with water, though.
Right,
but if you-
water is heavy.
Hold on, hold on.
The water
If
with
nothing is in the bowl,
then
it's lighter.
The bowl will become lighter.
He,
Right,
Right.
he's saying nothing. Like, get rid of the water and put nothing in there.
So he kind of looks to you as you guys are discussing that line of reasoning. Says, "You cannot. No. Your answer's. It is something.
Oh, man.
It is something that is weightless. It is something that can be seen by the naked eye. Nothing cannot be seen.
Sure you can. I see nothing.
You
It's the absence of something can't be.
Right,
make a deception check.
right.
Yes.
You could come up with
Deception
another
check.
answer.
Okay.
Another answer
Oh,
to the.
Quick, somebody
riddle.
blow inspiration on me.
Do a
I
bard.
have it.
Bard it.
I have it.
Hold on.
I could blow inspiration on him if I wanted, because I have it. Do you mind if I do that, John?
Yeah, if you want to spend your inspiration on that, sure. I guess. I mean,
No,
do you
no.
really want to do that? Like, is that something that you
You don't
genuinely?
have to. You don't have to. I want to see how this.
So I have a potential answer.
Yeah. What's your real answer? Like error?
I think that the answer is flame. It will evaporate the water and make it lighter.
Oh, that's a good one. Heat. Yeah, I like that. And you can see heat because if it's a flame, you can see the flame. If it's heat, you can see like waver in the.
I was thinking first like breath, but you can't see breath, but it would definitely take the water out.
I've met some people that you could probably see their breath.
He knew you were bullshitting, Salvor.
Darn it.
All right. Yeah.
That's-
Try not to roll well,
He
John.
What do you
he looks
think?
at Hawk and he says, "Is fire your answer?"
I'm
And he's
gonna
looking. He looks at Hawk. He doesn't look like he's talking to you
Final
all.
answer. Yeah.
Yes.
You see him ignite fire in his hand, and he tosses it into the bowl, and it goes out with a puff of smoke. It doesn't seem that your answer is correct. And you feel like as you're about to say something in response or talk to the guys, you cannot speak.
Oh, does my mouth disappear?
Right.
Oh
And
no!
for table talk purposes, to keep this thing interesting, don't
Oh,
interject
my.
any ideas for the game.
All
You
right.
are-
Wait,
you
did
can-
my mouth disappear also?
You haven't answered yet. He just called you dumb, and you were trying to say a thing. Do you want to? Because he's saying nothing is not a thing that you can
Fine,
see.
I won't say anything since I've seen that happen.
All right. So you guys,
Hold on a second. What was the full riddle again? What was the first line?
what's weightless can be seen by the naked eye, and when you put it in the bowl, will make it lighter.
I mean, we could always say air.
You want to try saying that?
Sure,
You guys
I'll
had-
say air.
You had a couple of good lines of reason, and so you say that he makes a manifestation of like an air like bubble in his hand, drops it into the bowl, and the second it hits, you see it kind of disperse against the water and not sink, and it doesn't really do anything to it. He
Yeah, well,
shrugs
mute.
and zoop, no talkie-talkie.
All right. I'm gonna guess heat.
Third one more time.
What is weightless can be seen by the naked eye, could be seen by the naked eye, and if you were to put it in that bowl, it would make it lighter.
I'm gonna guess heat.
I think it's light.
Could be.
You
I'm
can
gonna guess
see
heat.
light. If you put light in the bowl, it
Hey.
will make the bowl lighter
Real
or
quick.
brighter.
Zach, go ahead and just make me an intelligence check. And Mel, you can if you want to too.
That seems
Oh my gosh.
again
All
pie.
right.
Just straight intelligence.
Straight up intelligence. All right. Let's see
Oh
what this
man,
does.
I don't know
Ooh,
shit.
I nailed
Okay.
it that time.
Boo, you're going off the same line of reasoning that you were just saying. But Mel, for you, you remember when Hawk had the ability to talk, and also when Zell had the ability to talk. They both had pretty interesting lines of reasoning. It just seems like the method was poor in that something that would remove the water from the bowl added to the bowl would be smart. But fire's not going to burn and melt water. That's not going to happen. And nothing or air isn't going to enter it magically and displace. The idea of nothing to you kind of makes you think of like a void or like a cavity or recess. That might be the case.
Oh man,
Think about it.
whole bowl.
You can still talk if you just came up with that on your own.
Yeah, I did. I just said a hole in the bowl, right?
Yeah. Boo says a hole
just-
in the
A
bowl.
hole in the bowl.
You see him
We
lean
add a hole in the bowl.
lean
then the
forward,
bowl-
take his finger, and just stab straight down into the bowl.
No.
The second he does and removes his finger from it, you see water just start flooding onto the ground. He says, "Well done. Very interesting. Amazing." He picks up the bowl and sets it back down to the altar.
Are you gonna fix that?
And
Sorry, John. Thank you for the hand holding.
yeah, no problem. He says he says to the saint again. He says, "Will this do?" And the saint nods his head. They have earned the right. And he walks over to Boo, hands him the scepter, and when he does, he just vanishes.
Oh, yeah.
The
Back to the king.
Sphinx stays, and he kind of looks at you, and you've noticed he's had a very feminine kind of means of speaking, but I mean he still has a very regal male look to him. He says, "I am Kasan, and I will give you the second passage. You can enter the inner cloister." And he gestures to the door. You can kind of see the light glowing in from the left side. And be on your way back the way you came. Or you can enter this passage. And he gestures towards the altar, and the altar just becomes this radiant, blinding white square. And he kind of just stands next to it.
Oh yeah,
All right, guys. What
let's
we
do
doing?
that. We're going down that passageway with the radiant square.
All right.
All right, bear with me.
Sounds like a plan. We have our mouths back.
Yeah, you can talk. You can talk.
Anything special about this rod? While I'm holding it.
It has a good heft to it. It definitely feels arcane. Do you want to have that cool kid do some time with it?
We can do
Okay.
that.
Is a rod a weapon?
It could be used as a club, but
Probably
yeah.
not as use. I'm
It
sure.
may have some bitchin' properties.
We have a gavel, a +3 longsword, and a rod.
Keep in mind, I can identify
I know.
things,
Do
and
you want to do that?
I need to.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, identify stuff.
Okay.
Okay. If you identify
I
it,
have-
you find out that it's a rod of rulership.
Ooh, rod of rulership. That's cool.
Rods of rulership allow you to. You can use an action to present the rod and command obedience from each creature of your choice that you can see within 120 feet. This one seems to have a strange augment to it, though, that seems to be disproportionate because of where you are, not so much. So basically, 120 feet is its normal range. You feel that in this place, it does not emanate a specific distance, it emanates within the room that you're in. So every creature in the room that you are in, it will affect.
Ooh, let me get back to that dragon. Maybe the dragon will obey us now.
You would know that the way out to the left will lead you back to not the way you came, not through to the center. It will actually take you to the dragon, because the door on the left was the dragon door. This white, radiant door, you assume, will take you to, from the markings that you've seen so far, the soldier.
Hmm.
Do you want to go to soldier first? There's a place we have to go there, but we have to.
actually walk through the soldier door in order for it to be considered unlocked.
Yes. That's how it's gone so far.
So I'm guessing it's better for us to go through the soldier door because we need to unlock each secret path. And then we can always just step back out of the soldier door, go the
Mhm.
worm door,
Yeah.
rod of rulership, and come back for the soldier door again.
Yeah.
Right, but no,
we
we
have to go through the passage that opened.
right.
in order
We
to
just need
have
to
to
be
take
okay
it.
with giving up the longsword at this point, though.
So if you guys exit out, you'll go to the place you've been a couple of times. You would see the obelisk up ahead. You'd see the army out on the field beyond it. And you would know that the way out of here would be just turning around and walking back up the cobblestone path to the center. If you're going back to the center and that's your goal.
Are we going to the center? Or are we going to see the soldier?
I want to go see the soldier. That's my vote.
Okay. You would
What
know
are we
that
giving up?
you'd have to give something up. And so far you have a couple of magic items that have been added. A +3 longsword and a rod of rulership.
Yeah. does
But a
it
rod of
really work?
rulership that's augmented by this place.
Oh,
Don't give up the
can I
rod.
Also, yeah.
Okay.
Can I also take a look at the and burn a spell for that one?
Which one?
The gavel.
Oh,
Oh,
it
the
doesn't
gap.
glow.
Oh, that doesn't glow. Okay, never mind then.
Yeah, well, it doesn't glow so much as to say it's it appears magical, but it doesn't appear like it's a magic item. Does that make sense?
I hate to give up.
And
a
so
+3
far-
longsword.
Yeah, detect magic hasn't been killing your eyes. Neither has identify. You haven't been racking yourself brain-wise with that. Just true sight is what did it.
Hey, when you looked into that sword, did you find out that it was just +3 longsword, or is it something more?
It is just a +3 longsword. So I think that's our best bet because it's our one magical item, and that's just like bonus and
Yeah.
nothing else special.
Yeah, Hawk's longsword's better than that one, and you could trade your trident if you wanted to, but
Yeah, I have a hard time trading a +2 trident for a +3 longsword, though. That would be the hard part.
yeah, you couldn't throw the longsword.
No, it just doesn't look as cool either. Like,
Fair enough.
It doesn't fit your theme.
It's not a fishy weapon.
right?
All
Or I
right.
could get some special sword of ultimate sorcery. Now that would be pretty sweet, though.
Yeah.
But then there's all
That's
sorts
going
of
to
stuff.
Zelbor.
Zelbor's getting that.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. It'll pretty much pick who it wants to be with, I think. I don't know. Anyways.
So you guys walk through the radiant door, and then you guys go back to the center. Is that right? If so, you guys would note that the Rocky thing is actually heading back over to you guys, Rocky, and he goes through the door with you guys. If that's the case.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, yeah, Rocky. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, he doesn't say anything back.
I know.
He just goes through the door with you. No, nothing. Not even a gravelly noise. So you enter it. You go to the Athun's area. You're not planning on trying to do it right now. You're just going to go back through it, right? Is that what I heard, or am I hearing it wrong?
Are we going to do it now, guys?
Do what now?
I say we go
You
through the
could-
dragon first because we have the rod of rulership, and I think that's what we need to get to the dragon.
I'm
Okay.
cool with that.
All right. So let's just go ahead and spare some time. You go back to the center, and then you go back to the center, and then you go that way. So as you guys start to approach, he looks down at you and he says, "Again," and you can see him clinging onto the stone again. He kind of lifts off the ground and kind of starts hovering there for a second. What do you do?
I use the rod of rulership.
Okay. The second you start to activate it, he kind of looks down at you with this just glare, and he just growls out loud. You see the magic of the Rod of Rulership try to take hold over the dragon. It does not succeed. And I need every single one of you to make wisdom saving throws.
We're going to try. I think
Even
we have
with
to.
my spell preparation thing, because
Oh, this isn't really an effect that's going to be targeting your physical body. It's more about, look at me, I'm really scary.
Right.
I
I think
found-
I know which one this.
Hey, guess what,
Right.
guys? I have Aura of Courage. Me or an ally within 10 feet of me cannot be frightened.
Fair enough.
So we can
I
all give him the
failed.
finger.
You can't be frightened.
We can't be frightened.
Okay.
Cool.
If that's what he's doing.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's pretty awesome.
he frightful presences. You guys aren't afraid, but you also know that the rod didn't take hold.
Wait. Zilbor's really smart, isn't he?
Yeah, pretty smart.
Would he know what that rod does?
It's a rod of rulership. It commands
Yeah.
every single creature that you speak a command to with the rod if it fails its saving throw.
Does it work off of your charisma? Like with somebody like Zilbo who has more charisma than Boo?
DC's
wields
15
it
all the
stronger?
time.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was something like that.
Kitty.
So a dragon like this, which is probably magic resistant with legendary resistance and all of that kind of thing, it's probably not going to work too well against it.
No, we'd have to bestow curse.
It might work on like a bunch of smaller-minded creatures, but it certainly wouldn't work on a larger creature like that.
Bye-bye.
Hey, do we have to fight you, or are you gonna give us a riddle to solve? Or
He drops down to the ground.
riddle?
If you're not turning
We're
around,
leaving.
yeah, he starts
We're leaving.
starts to breathe prismatically, and you guys leave.
All right, guys, let's get
It
out of here.
doesn't
This
seem
is
like the
bullshit.
riddle type.
Maybe
No.
we need to fight him last. Like maybe we'll get an arrow of dragon. or
Okay,
something, and
so
who would kill that if we did?
back to the center. Thinking about what you can do with this rod of rulership, think about what you have encountered so far.
Ooh,
Pretty sure
dwarves at
this
the
was supposed to
fortress.
help us with the tyrant.
Dwarves?
Or the
Yeah.
fortress, yeah, there's the fortress.
Yeah, they.
It could help with the tyrant. It could help with the keep. Depends on.
Let's
you
go
know, yeah.
do the keep. Keep on the Borderlands.
Okay,
They
keep it is.
seem smaller and dumber.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking, because they seem pretty dumb.
Yeah, they did.
All right, hold on a
Forgot
second.
about that one.
Sorry, the keep's way back in the back.
Hey, you guys believe the audacity of that dragon thinking he could scare the shit out of us? You know,
It's
What
pretty
an
scary.
asshole. Yeah, but we left because we just didn't want to get into a fight. You know, we
'Cause you were
figured it'd be too
scared,
much hassle.
Not frightened.
It was too much hassle. We weren't really scared, but
All right, you guys start walking along the way. You can see that all of the ones that manifested when you guys were here before are still there, and one of them kind of leans over the ledge there and says, "Oh, you lot, what are you doing back?"
We,
No words. No words. I just do it.
What do you
That's
say?
it.
What do you say?
Allow us entry.
There are.
Okay, they
he takes out his rod of rulership.
all move to the gates, and you can hear churning and chugging and chugga chewing, and it sounds like they are lifting the portcullis.
All right, good job, Boo. You did it.
Okay, buddies, let's go.
All right, wait till they see us getting in there, all up in their jam.
all up in their grill.
Yep.
8 hours.
What's a grill?
Yeah. What is this grill stuff? All right,
Are
we
we
gotta
having
let
a
Boo go
barbecue?
first. He's the master.
They look at
Oh
you.
shit! Am I allowed to do that?
What?
The rod can't be used again until the next dawn.
That's
Yeah.
all right. We can wait
Yeah.
till the next day.
This is what it would. This is what it helped us do. So that's cool.
They all see you coming, and they look to Boo and they say, "My lord, we didn't see it was you. We did not recognize it was you. What do you will of us, Lord Ryan?"
We can't
Lord
do anything to
Ryan.
hurt themselves. Remember,
Yeah, but they could fight that dragon for us.
if we command them to do something contrary to their nature, it ceases to be charmed.
What did you see from the lens of the worm? What have you seen of the dragon? Does it come again? Should we prepare for it?
Yes.
Let Lord Ryan say this, said I, his right-hand advisor.
Oh man.
Is this so, my lord? And they say that to Boo. Is he your advisor? We've never seen this one before.
I've acquired so many friends along my travels.
If
Treat them
you,
with respect.
if they are your trusted advisors and servants, then we will. What say you then, red-skinned one?
Psst, Matt.
What say you, there, red-skinned one?
We gotta let us through here.
They are asking. You said I want to talk for him, and then you just got approval to talk
Oh,
for him.
Totally
Sorry,
cat distracted.
We both have red skin on the drawing, so I didn't
Yeah, no.
Brown skin.
talking to me.
No, you're the redskin.
Okay, yes. Prepare to fight the dragon.
Let us pass through.
Okay, and they all start moving, and you can actually see dozens more, not hundreds, just start appearing. It looks like they're just coming right up out of the
You got yourself
stone,
an army, boo.
coming right up out of the
Uh,
stones of the fortress.
John.
Yeah. It looks like these forms just start rising up out of the stones of the fortress. It looks like there are dozens of them that are manning the
Not
walls.
just me, right?
Can you hear me?
That's 18. This. Yeah, I can't hear John anymore.
You can't hear
Cutting
me.
out. Cutting out.
Ooh.
Now I can.
Now you can?
Yep.
Okay. The stones themselves seem to manifest these strange magical force dwarves. Upon closer inspection, you realize they're wearing real armor and such, but they appear to be made out of the same stuff that the dragon was made out of, arcane energy. But they are rising up out of the stones of the keep itself, and they start manning the walls.
Don't we have to pass through?
Well, we should
What's over here? There's some wood for a fire over to the south and the west.
Yeah, and there's also this building.
Mhm.
That is for Skimmelin Rohan.
Right.
The dwarf will lead you into like the inner bailey, if you so wish it. It does look like there are a couple of doors. There are 2 doors, to be precise. There's one door that looks like it's to a small thatched building. The door is slightly ajar. It looks like it could be easily entered into if you so wished to do so. And then there's a stone door that looks like it's the door of like a jail. And it appears to be shut and locked with this weird set of gears and mechanisms that all kind of just circle around the door handle. Just very strange and ornate. And it's all enclosed in glass. You don't even
Galen,
you don't even think the skillful fingers of Iden would be able to figure out that trap and that mechanism to open it. But yeah, there is also a series of stones kind of in the bailey next to a large pile of thatch. Um, it looks like lots of these sticks have already been put to be set to a bonfire, and they all kind of look at you as Hawk's kind of moving over to it. You know about the calling flame?
No, tell us.
You don't know the tale? Lord Ryan, you've
My
not told...
friends don't. I prefer if you share with them.
Oh, well then certainly, my lord. The calling flame. In the ages-old tales of the keep, it was told that the keep was struck by a star from the heavens, a worm's wood. And when it was struck, it was all guided to these stones. And the fire that blazed there blazed for so long that it kept us all warm for ages. The stones were warm, and we were warm, and it was a good time. But it has gone out since. A normal fire will light it just a bit if we set thatch to it, set sticks and such. But it is not the same effect as the worm's wood.
Wormswood.
the worms would agree.
If we set that off, who is that signaling?
9 out of 10 worms would agree.
Yeah. If we lit that, who is that signaling to?
You
Is it?
don't understand. It called the flame to it. And he says, go ahead and try it. Light a fire. Bring it to
Guys,
it.
we could probably bring the dragon here and then fight it with an army of whatever these dwarves are at our backs. But I don't know if that's a good idea. I'm just saying I think that's maybe what happens.
I'm not sure if we can cross them through the.
I don't know. Who knows? It's magic
I
shit,
think
isn't it?
each they stay in their own zone.
Maybe. That's if you believe in non-zonal crossation.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm
Make
making
up a
shit up.
word. That sounds right.
Non-zonal crossation theory.
I mean, I am a non-zonalist.
A non-zonalist.
Should you light the fires
I'm
up?
a zonoxtic. Zonoxtic? Is that a word?
You
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We might want to light this fire, see what happens.
have you met with Breathian? Have you tangled with him, my lord?
We have encountered, but not fought.
Yeah,
You
he seems
know-
pretty powerful.
you know more than anyone the only thing that can wound him.
Yes, but remind us, for those of us who don't know.
Yeah, I've never heard that story.
Of course. Well, certainly. If you wish to wound the dragon Breathian, then, well, you must have the spines of the truest manticore. You must have Vasar's spines.
All right, guys, that's what we need to do. You know, if theoretically we wanted to wound him.
So we haven't been to the Manticore's room yet, right?
No, we have not. Let's look at the rest of this place in the keep because there's some of these doors like this one with
Yeah,
the gears.
The jail door. Could you allow us entry in there?
No.
The back door.
The only way to enter into that door is to light the flame.
I knew that light and flame was what we had to do.
Of course.
Right.
Someone else with magic who can do that easily.
Yeah, who has magic fire that they can
Anyone?
cast?
I'm pretty sure that we need the dragon.
To light that?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I mean,
Just try it. Try throwing a little fire mote on it. A mote to fire.
I mean, I don't really create fire unless you want me to.
Fireball might be a bit much.
that seems excessive.
Yeah.
Do you light a torch?
That's the limitation. Unless someone wants to smack me, I'll.
Do you want to just light a torch?
Let's try a torch. Let's try a torch.
Sure. You take a torch
I
and
have
you
a torch.
light it, and you start walking towards it to go up the steps to get to it. And as you touch the stones of this, huge fire, beacon, you actually see the flames from your torch rip away from the torch and jump into the stones and the wood that's set atop of it. It burns for a moment. It's just a fickle thing, and then it just saunters out into just ash and smoke. It doesn't seem like the fire that you just presented it is a true flame.
Yeah. You know, you shouldn't ask a fish person to light a fire because, that's like, doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's what did
I
it.
still think we need to get the dragon's fire somehow, and I think we
Maybe.
need to go to the Manticore to do that. And I
Probably. How do we get to the Manticore? Have we gone to the Hunters
Well-
yet? Have we
No.
gone to the Hunters yet?
No.
I just wish I had some kind of fire.
I could take some time to cast this as a ritual and have him.
You don't have, like, Scorching Ray or Firebolt or any of that shit?
No, why would I have those things? I'm a bard,
I don't know, because you can have any spell you want, right?
and I took Fireball.
Fireball. I mean, you could try that, but that's kind of overkill, yeah.
I'm not going to try Fireball on this thing. It's not going to work.
Yeah. Do you have any type of cantrip that creates fire?
I can turn fire from red to purple. That's about it.
Oh, that's cool.
Called thaumaturgy.
Yeah. Hey, ask these dwarves if they can light it.
We told you we can light it, but it doesn't hold like the wormswood
Yeah.
flame did.
All right.
Right.
Let's go. Let's find something else then. What about a sword that had a green flame? That's magical.
I don't think Green Flame Blade's going to work.
Green
It's
flame!
magical. Who knows?
It's not magical enough.
Hey, I don't say bad things about your flames. You shouldn't say bad things about Hawk's green flames.
Yeah.
My flame's more powerful, and I'm saying.
Yeah, but you're not going to use your flame because it's too powerful. So, did you try your
And
Hawk?
it's not going to work.
Did you try your green flame, Hawk, just to prove this guy that I got from Missouri, the Show Me realm.
Zelbor's just going to start walking away.
Okay.
That's fine. Boo's the leader around here. Just don't piss him off. He could probably have you thrown in jail.
I'd like to see him keep me there.
Yes, that might be tough. So, Hawk, are you going to at least try it?
It doesn't do anything.
The
Thank
green
you.
flame didn't do anything. Oh man, I was hoping that sword would do it. It's like
I was just catching myself up in my notes, making sure I knew where I was at, because you guys are probably.
I'm guessing if I cast Fireball.
Do you want to waste a third level spell slot?
No, because I know that it's not going to work.
All right, well then don't do it.
You don't
We're not
know
asking.
if it's not going to work unless you do it.
All right, check the other room.
Can I do Arcana to see if I know?
So you don't need to roll. You know it's not going to work.
Yeah, that's
All right, it won't work. Maybe we can get the dragon to show up someday. But let's figure out what's in the rest of this keep first, and then we can go somewhere else.
Now, if you remember correctly, that when you entered the keep the first time, you did so by entering through the ship. You entered down into the ship, into the cabin, the captain's cabin. That was the secret entry into the keep, the special entry into the keep. So you don't know. The easy route out of here is probably going to take you back there, just based on your assumptions so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
well.
So
No, we left the easy route out of here, out of the front. It took us.
No. There's two doors besides the way you came in.
Gotcha.
There's a thatched building that probably leads into a boat somehow. And then there's a prison door that has like weird mechanisms locking it. And you don't know where that leads. But option-wise, there's not very many left. You know how to get to Kesh one way. You know how to get to most places two ways. You know how to get to the soldier both ways, through the wanderer, through the saint. You know how to get to Breathian two ways, through the tyrant and through the saint. You know how to get to the judge two ways, through the mother and through the tyrant. You know how to get to the mother two ways, through the wraith and through the judge.
Right.
But so far, the keep, you aren't sure where that door is going to lead, the special door. The wanderer has two exits out of it, but you don't know where somewhere else is going to lead into it. You don't know what leads into it, what other place besides this, the soldier leads into it. Because remember, the soldier underneath the statue led back to the wanderer.
Right. Do we want to? Well, I do want to at some point actually try to ritual cast Unseen Servant and have him stick his hand in the Manticore thing to see if anything happens.
Sure. If you guys want to go back to the central, you can. Perfectly acceptable.
And then we want to try the soldier after that.
Yeah, that's something.
Can we ask the dwarves how to open? Did they say they couldn't open up that prison for us?
Oh no,
Prison, we need the flame to open it.
we
Oh,
can't.
yeah, flame. Okay, that's what they meant. All right. Well then,
Yeah.
fine. We should probably go back. Do we really need that rod of rulership anymore? Maybe we can give them that.
What you
Let's
would
hold on to that.
what you would know, based on Arcana, just the training, the people who have training in it, is possession of the rod of rulership will allow you to, keep rulership over them. The normal duration is 8 hours, but for some reason you think that this might be not so much permanent, but daily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll hold on to the rod because we will probably want to come back here.
It lets you command the keep.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, let's go, guys. Boom.
I say we check out the Huntress just to see what it is.
Yeah, we could do that. Or the Manticore. He's gonna try that Manticore stuff.
As I
Manticore's
said, I want to try Unseen Servant first. It probably won't work, but
okay. You're just putting the hand of it in there.
yeah, I'm just going to cast Unseen Servant and tell him to stick his.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to do anything up until a second, and it just sucked right in.
So my Unseen Servant just gets sucked right in.
Mm-hmm.
Bob!
What about
No.
the
It is-
the gavel? I don't know.
If I command the servant to perform a task that would move it more than 60 feet away from you, the spell ends. The spell ends.
Oh no, I mean like I would move over to the door with it, and I want.
No,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, so
It put its
goes
hand
through
in.
and it just-
And it's more than 60 feet away from you.
Gotcha.
Because I think temporally, being in a different segment of a
Right.
yeah, it's
No,
you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I didn't understand it at first.
Right.
Now
Spatial distances of feet is kind of hard in this place. But
right.
yeah.
Okay.
It's
Just wanted to see what would happen
if
someone stuck
if it was still alive, it would be, you would assume it would be right on the other side of the door. But you don't. It's gone because it's no longer close enough.
their hand. Right. I suggest we don't stick our limbs in there yet, just in case.
So the huntress.
Yeah.
All right, hold on a second. This one will take a little bit.
The huntress is a cold.
Yes.
I was going to say, do you want to do the huntress, or did we want to do the soldier and tramps through there, or
Well,
I
I
don't
don't
know
know what the
what
Huntress is. The Huntress might give us another magic item that's not as good as the +3 long sword.
yeah.
Okay,
Or it
I'm
might
fine
give
with
us
that.
one
Just
here.
wanted to check.
And the cat.
Poor Bob.
Okay.
No one saw him, and then he died.
Sorry, I just gotta grab Rocky.
Yep. Raccoon.
You guys go up the steps, and as you continue up the steps, it starts to get blistering cold. Very, very, very cold. If you are not resistant to cold weather, let me
He
know.
stands right behind me.
Good.
I am not.
Handy. It finally came in handy. Resistance cold.
Nope, I'm not.
Malik, you're
Nope.
doing fine. Do you have winter gear on your person?
Let me check. Rocky doesn't mind cold either.
I have a bedroll. Does that count?
You wrap yourself up in your sleeping bag. It'll be hard to attack, but yeah,
I mean,
you'll be fine against the winter. All
I
right.
don't have winter clothes, but
do I have a bedroll?
How about
I do
you?
not have a bed. No, I do. Okay. I'm good.
How about you, Boo? You're a winter elf, aren't you?
No, I'm
Oh.
a wild elf.
Okay.
But I have a blanket,
Okay.
not
You're
as
at,
bad as a sleeping bag.
you won't be able to attack very well in it, and if you start to kind of attack, you'll kind of lose the benefits of being warm. So we'll get to that when that happens.
Yeah, but for right now,
It seems to be working. You guys bustle each other up and kind of like move in close, and you start to realize that the wind and snow is kind of moving at a very fast clip. It's very biting, except to Malik, who doesn't care. But you start to realize too that the wind isn't moving naturally. It seems to be moving in kind of a circular pattern, like it's moving around something. And as you kind of breach through this circle, you can see that you are standing on a high mountain. You can actually see just the lowlands, mountains all about. It's just mountains as far as you can see, but everyone is lower than the one that you're on. And you can see the very top of the summit is kind of like a spire that's kind of leaning, like a crag that's kind of built up of ice and rock. And standing atop it is a woman, completely adorned in a blue, just hauntingly just beautiful gown with star patterns and ice crystal patterns all throughout it. Her hair is jet black and it's just sailing about in the wind. She has a crown of frost upon her head, and in her hand she's holding a solid black ice just shard. Really, it looks like it's a sword in her hand, and she looks at you with glowing blue eyes. I'm going to go ahead and move us to the map.
Ricola.
Excuse me, do you have any warmer clothes?
She's the Rhine Witch. Holy crap, she's huge too. Oh wait, that's gargantuan, isn't it? Or is that huge?
She is a giant. She is definitely gargantuan, yeah.
I don't like it here.
She's not
Told
huge.
you the women are large.
She's 4 by 4.
She has a huge ass sword in her hand.
Just based on her size, it looks like her weight should collapse the thing that she's standing on, but she seems to stand there with like an elfish grace. And as you kind of look at her hair whipping about, you notice that she does have elvish ears peering out of the sides of her hair. And she looks at you, and when she finally speaks, it doesn't seem like it's coming from her mouth. It seems like the storm, the blizzard that you're in, is talking. You can feel vibrations throughout the snow and the wind that seems to be this haunting female voice. And she says, "Wayseekers, you will not find the path. Hunt all you like. You'll die here in the cold." And if you don't have cold resistance, at this point, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
You guys get +5.
Nice.
It won't help.
It will. Don't be negative.
The warmth of Nair mode.
It won't help.
The warmth of Nair
Oh, yeah.
mode.
Boo kicked it, and so did Hot. Zelbor, not so much.
Yep. You guys are all fine for now, but you are probably chittering of teeth there, Zelbor. A bit of the old snot freezing inside your nose. She just kind of. Go ahead.
I want to try something.
Uh-oh. Doesn't sound good.
on myself to see if it makes me warm.
Cast Fireball.
Yeah, so it seems that the biting wind kind of like removes itself, and your breath and breathing inside of it as you're kind of like holding yourself closed, it's starting to warm up a bit inside. I would say you're putting it as a hemispherical kind of bubble around yourself, right? So you're kind of stuck there, right?
Well, I can move, but it's at half speed, and probably with the snow, it's at half of that. So
Yeah, you're probably going to be moving like
I can move like 5 feet.
yeah, 5 feet a turn. That's fine.
It only lasts a minute though, so
Better than
I
nothing.
need to warm myself some.
It'll save you from a couple saves there. So yeah, it looks like Rocky's kind of moving with a little bit less grace than he has been, kind of sluggishly moving, and she kind of just watches you. Find the path. Seek it all you will.
My thumb froze this way.
All right, guys. I think I can find this path. This weather doesn't bother me. Should I just start looking? Are you guys coming with me?
I'm going to roll slowly behind them.
All right.
Look at
I'm
Camps.
going this way, like up this way first. Then heading over. Wait.
Okay. As you kind of step out away from the entrance and away from the winds and cold, you would notice that the sky above, it does seem to kind of give a glow to the snow and everything. But when you look up, you realize that it's not the sun that's glaring down at you. It's just thousands and hundreds and actually, let me do the truest rendition of Carl Sagan I can give you. Billions and billions of stars directly overhead. Just a huge, just galaxies and it's just stars bright as the day, shining above you.
Beautiful. We need to find our way through. I think I know the path. I have no idea, actually. I'm just guessing.
Okay, go for it, man. Lead the way,
No, no.
motherfucker.
Your first thing was like, wait, really? You understand what's going on here? I have no idea. And then it was like,
Go, whatever, man. You go.
I don't think we want to go right up to her. So I'm thinking we want to just go into one of these pathways. So, pathway that we want to go to.
there doesn't appear to be any pathways. It's just kind of a lead up to the cairn and the spire top of the mountain. You were literally on the summit of a mountain.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. Well, I think I know what I want to do. I want to look up at the billions and billions of stars, and I want to look at the zodiac signs up there because I'm sure they're up there. And then I want to create a line between like the first star and the Big Dipper, and how it goes through. Which zodiac symbol do we want to look at, guys? We want to look at the Manticore. Are we trying to get there, or are we trying to go just finish this one? So we want to look for the Huntress. That's what we want to do. We want to go towards the Huntress. Makes sense to me, right?
Okay. Go ahead and make me a intelligence check, and if you have Arcana, I'll allow you to add your proficiency bonus.
Is this for anyone, or is this just for?
He mentioned something. He said, "I think we need to find da da da." It's a really good idea, so I'm going to give you advantage. You would realize that the zodiac, the star sign that the zodiac is based on, is overhead. You are looking at a winter sky, and what you would notice is that where she's standing, is directly underneath the Huntress's sign.
Ooh.
She's the huntress. Is there a clear... Following the stars, is there like a clear path to her?
So like you kind of see like there's just the stars up above, and you can see a couple of the constellations that you're kind of looking towards. The one for the Huntress seems to be directly over her head. In fact, you looking at it more so, you can actually see that the patterns on her dress are kind of alight with color, and it looks like the ground is also alight with color. And it seems that the lights that are kind of glowing around her and in the snow seem to mirror out on or at her feet the signs of the stars above her head.
Where's one of the ones that we haven't found path to? Like one of the constellations.
So
Are
you're,
all of the constellations visible at the moment, or only some of them?
it's a winter sky. So Zelbor, what you're noticing is that she's kind of standing in a center portion of the sky, kind of below her and to the cardinal directions, like leaning towards the west and to the east. You would see the other 2 months that would be in the winter as well. That would be the Sar and Kesh.
Let's dig under those.
Dig? We're not digging. We're going towards that direction, right?
Well,
Let me see
I'm
something
thinking
here.
if she-
Based on
if
your
she's underneath
perception,
the Huntress.
based on your perception there, Mel, if you were to kind of go down the cairn a bit and to her right, or to rather your right and her left, over here. Hold on.
Yeah, Kesh is the wraith, guys. That Hawk had some good experiences with that guy, right?
Go
Yeah,
around.
he's a jerk.
If you were to go around to about here, you think you might see be underneath the sign of Kesh, and if you were to go over to around here, you might be under the sign of the Manticore.
Ooh, you guys want to go to the Manticore?
Manticore.
All right, I tell my party that's they're pretty cold and stuff. I said, "Come this way. I have found the way," and go over there. And I'll bring Rocky and the other guys.
You are a keen hunter, she says, or rather the storm says, and as she says so, she says, I too seek the Manticore, and I have wounded the Manticore before. Will you have such luck? I know not. But do you see it? Make a perception check if you are over there.
Oh man, that's good. I should be able to do that.
I'm not going to because it would.
That should be good for me. We'll see what happens when I roll. That's
Got
not
a
good.
10. Yeah.
That's
Boo
average.
rolled pretty bad too. Hawk?
I mean, wait. Did someone have or Malik? You have the inspiration. Give that to Boo right now.
Oh, I could. Let's see. Doesn't Hawk get a roll too though?
Yeah.
Oh, he
Hawk,
rolled 18. Good enough.
You're watching the people who are like really skillful seekers looking up into the sky and paying more attention to it than they should, what you think is important. And you kind of see this, grouping of like ice blocks at the base of the spire. And looking at it more intently, you see that it kind of has like this shadow inside of the ice. It seems to be the shape of a manticore, a scorpion's tail with bat-like wings, and a face like a lion. But where you see the face like a lion should be, it's frozen out to the surface of this icy block. And you can see that its mouth is agape, and it appears that it's solid black within.
Good spot in that, Hawk.
So I'll just go straight to that, wherever that is.
It's where they're at. It's right where they're at.
You
Everybody
have
else on
eyes
the
of a
team.
hawk. All right, sweet. We'll go in there then.
It looks like an ice rendition of the thing that you saw inside of the central chamber.
Cool. Let's go there.
Yeah, this is
Before
good.
I
though.
die.
So again, it doesn't appear to be a door. It appears to be a hole, just like the one in the main chamber. If you want to put your hand in and
jeez.
suffer the consequences, you can.
I'm gonna stick my hand in this one.
You guys-
without saying anything to anyone.
Watch as
Oh,
Boo's
no.
form is just drawn in, almost cartoonishly, into the hole, and he disappears.
Oh, so we follow him? I think so.
Who's next?
I will put my hand in there next.
Go last.
Melly kind of reaches in, puts his hand in,
Let's
just
order
gets
Rocky to go in.
sucked away. Hawk, yeah, the rock does
Yep.
it. The rock does it on command. Hawk, you place your hand in, get sucked in, and Silver, you're out in the cold. You're still in your resilient sphere. You can't actually touch it.
I'll drop the sphere and go in.
You just rush it and grab it. Okay. You vanish as well, along with your friends, not knowing where you're going, and that's what we're end for tonight.
Ah, nice. Perfect.
Guys, what happened was rocks fall. We all died.
We're gonna go ahead and kill the stream.
We're all
Thanks.